American Legion want to thank the thousands of firefighters who are currently protecting our state and preserving the last best place.
Welcome back to Fox Sports Radio, 1450 and 92.7. Chris Stratton here with Taylor Featherman at Oakland Park Allegiance Field as we are set to go for game number 7 of the Northwest Regional Tournament. Yakima out of Washington and the Missoula Mavericks from right here in Missoula, Montana. And Mavericks first up to bat. Yakima, they're getting set to go. On the field, on the mound, is Riley Lublin, right-handed pitcher, number 8. He'll warm up, and the catcher for today's game is Eric Towsley for Yakima. Our leadoff batter, Mr. Consistent, the second baseman, James Martin. James has been pretty consistent here the last 3 or 4 weeks for the Mavericks, hitting very well and kind of pushing them forward and keeping them going.
Yeah, and I'd say so. And we've seen him do some great things defensively at second base as well. Starting a lot of starting a lot of double plays off, whether it's fielding or just chasing. We saw him with a couple really nice diving stops yesterday in their first game. But yeah, and looking at his stats yesterday, 600 average on the day, 3 for 5, I believe. 3 runs scored, 3 hits, a double, a triple, and a single. I was joking yesterday, he's a home run shy of a cycle there. So you're absolutely right, Chris. James Martin able to do a lot down there on the baseball diamond as we see him step up to the box now.
And Peanut, as they call him around here, he'll head to the batter's box and settle in. So number 2, James Martin, the second baseman, will lead off here for the Mavericks. Nick Jovetic goes to the on-deck circle. Martin settles in, and the first pitch is ready to go. It's on its way, and it will be outside for ball 1. Once again, our umpires, Phil Schlosser behind home plate, Jeff Maxey down first base line, and Max Cannon on the third base line. Here's pitch number 2. This one's going to foul, hop right up over, and it will have a even count at 1. And Taylor, I don't want to worry you, but we had foul ball come in and hit the tip of the awning here in the previous game. So
I wish you wouldn't have said that.
They're zoning in on us here. Here's the pitch. That one's a ball. Makes it 2-1 for Martin here. Folks, we would love to hear from you. We've got something new going on here. We would love to hear from you on Twitter. Let us know where you're listening from. That one's going to be hit out into right field, and that'll be out number 1. That'll bring us Nick Jovetic, the center fielder, number 20. What's that Twitter handle, Taylor?
@feather_24. If you want to tweet in where you're listening from, that's my personal Twitter account, but we will read them on air. Also follow if you want. I tweet some good stuff. Nick Jovetic up to bat now, Chris, and obviously he hit that moonshot yesterday over right field.
Here's the first pitch to Yo. He'll hit this one off the hand grips. It'll foul off into the camera well down the first base line.
Also 4 RBIs. I mean, it was a 2-run home run. So that's 2 of them. But he also had a big triple, which he's been known to do here this season.
This one will foul off into the netting, and quickly we go to an 0-2 count here for Yo. Schock will come and snag the balls from behind the plate. Yeah, you guys should follow along with Taylor. He's got some pretty good thoughts and opinions about sports in general.
I'd like to
will
think
foul
so.
that one off over the concession stand down the third base line.
I like to think I have good opinions, but you never know.
Here's the pitch. That one's outside, and Jovetic climbs into the pitch count with a 1-2. Riley Lublin for Yakima. They're the Washington representative here in the Northwest Regional Tournament. Here's the pitch. Swung on. Fouls off the helmet of the catcher, Towsley.
Jovetic not looking like he's trying to take too big of cuts here so far. more of maybe just trying to feel himself out. I mean, he didn't really take that big home run cut till the second at bat.
That one he'll check swing. It'll land in the dirt, and we'll have an even count at 2 here for Yo.
Just kind of taking his time, starting that chess match out that you like to talk about.
Here's the pitch. Swung on. Bounces down the first base line. First baseman tries to handle it. The throw to first. The race is won by Jovetic, and he'll get on here for the Mavericks. That'll bring up the first baseman, number 7, Dane Frazier.
Dane Frazier in yesterday's action struggled a little bit, batting only .250 so far here in the tournament. But he still did get a run scored, and he did still register a hit, so nothing to scoff at. And he drove home a run, Chris. RBIs are what counts, right?
That's right. So Lublin with the pitch. Frazier will watch it go by, and it's a ball. Frazier settles back in. Right-handed batter is Frazier. Jovetic with a one-step lead at first. Here's the pitch. That one skins the outside of the plate, evens the count out at 1. Hubley, or Lublin, I should say, on the mound. Here's the pitch. That one skins the plate, and the pitcher climbs into the count here at a 1-2. Frazier settles back in. Lublin nods at the pitch. Jovetic steps from first. Here's the pitch. Outside. And we've got an even count here with 1 out for Frazier. Opening half inning here for the Mavericks of Missoula and Washington. Here's the pitch by Lublin. This one hit right at Lublin. It'll bounce right past second. And just like that, with 1 out, the Mavericks have runners at first and second. And the wall, Spencer Schock, he'll remove his leg guards as he is the catcher. With 1 out here, runner at first and second. Coach Hathaway just points towards the box.
Well, Chris, this is how the Mavs are going to have to play this game. Yakima, a team who just came out in their previous game and just attacked Lewis and Clark all game long. Mavs getting aggressive early.
That pitch out, well, it catches the outside of the plate for strike 1.
I mean, 9 runs in the first 3 innings against Lewis and Clark. If the Mavericks want a shot here, which I think they have one, they're going to have to stay aggressive.
Here's the pitch. Schock watches it go by. It'll be strike 2. So 0-2 count, 1 out here for Schock. Runners at first and second. Lublin on the mound. He'll check the runner at second, and now the pitch outside. Trying to get Schock to bite on that outside pitch.
Well, you see that a lot here in Legion level. And swing one.
Here's the pitch. Swung on and missed, and Schock will start out with a K.
The right fielder, number 1, Drew Leonard.
That'll bring up the right fielder, Drew Leonard.
Leonard had himself a good day yesterday. 2 for 4 at the dish, 2 hits. Able to drive in a run as well.
So Lublin waiting for the pitch. Gets it. Checks Jovetic at second. And the pitch. Leonard check swing. They say that he went. They'll check in the field, and they say, no, he didn't go. And the fans not happy about the call.
I can say there's a little outroar here from the Yakima faithful.
So a 1-0 count here. Leonard settles back in. Riley Lublin ready for the pitch. Watches Yo, who's got a 2-step lead. Leonard will pop this one out. Foul. That goes deep over the clubhouse for the Osprey down the third base line. Leonard settles back in with an even count at 1. Lublin. Here's the pitch. That one's going to fall between the legs. Runners will advance from on bases. So Frazier at second now and Jovetic at third. 2 outs. Opening half frame.
Well, now we've got runners in the scoring position. So let's see what Drew Leonard can do here.
And you know, that's the one thing that that Lewis and Clark was not able to do yesterday morning against Yakima, was get runners in scoring position. They would have some hits, but just couldn't get runners in scoring position early in the game, and that's key right there. Here's the pitch. That one's inside. And we've got a 3-1 count here. Lublin settles, waits for the pitch. Runners at second and third for the Mavericks. 2 outs. Here's the pitch. And they'll walk Leonard to load the bases. That'll bring up the third baseman, Ryan McHugh.
Well, and that's not necessarily who Yakima wanted to see come up. I think they might have had a better shot trying to strike out Leonard. Ryan McHugh yesterday, 3 of 5 with 2 RBIs on the day. He was on fire yesterday.
Rhino, as they call him around here. I call him the Laser, but that dates back to Loyola basketball days. Here's the pitch. He'll foul this one into the barbecue area down the first base line. Gave him the Laser nickname, Taylor, at Loyola for boys basketball. And I know you've heard me say this before, but he would step on the court off the bench 3 times down the court, 3 3-pointers that would just come off the end of his fingers on a line into the hoop. Here's the pitch. He'll hit this one deep into left field. Left fielder struggles. He'll get it, and that will end the inning. So the Mavericks, they'll load the bases up, but they'll strand them there, and it will be the bottom of the first in 60 seconds on Fox Sports Radio, 1450 and 92.7. Welcome back to Ogren Park Allegiance Field. Chris Stratton here with Taylor Featherman as we are set to go here. Bottom of the first inning. Dylan Chalmers, number 12, on the mound for the Mavericks. And the leadoff batter for Yakima is Bryce Hegelson, number 14, the center fielder.
Now this guy's got a little pop here. Bryce Hegelson had 3 RBIs and a home run in his last game to go along with 5 hits and 6 at-bats. I mean, the guy's batting so far in the tournament .833. Let that sink in.
Whew.
Yeah. So keep an eye on this guy.
Here's the pitch. Outside on the right-handed batter for ball 1. Here's the pitch by Chalmers. That one's in the dirt. We go to a 2-0 count here. Thursday, Chalmers would pitch against Lethbridge, And he would struggle in the first inning a little bit, not too much. Can't really say it was a struggle. He'd just get behind on the pitch count with the first couple of batters. And he's doing that right now with a 3-0 count.
It might be a trend.
Here's the pitch by Chalmers. And they'll walk the leadoff batter here. And that'll bring up number 5, the shortstop, Dak Archer.
Well, that's not what you hope for right there, Chris. Walking the leadoff man can be kind of dangerous, especially if Hegelson's got any wheels on him.
Yeah, he can scoot for sure. Here's the pitch. That one. So we've got 5 pitches for Chalmers and 5 balls. Runner steps away from first. 1-step lead. Chalmers checks him over his left shoulder. And now the pitch. That one's another ball.
Well, and just looking at the scouting report here, Yakima so far in this tournament has only attempted to steal 1 base, and they were successful in that. A little bit different of a story if you're talking about the Mavs.
Here's the pitch. That one. 7 pitches for Chalmers, 7 balls.
Well, and Schock doing a great job so far just trying to contain Hagelson for his pitcher here. Every time he catches the ball, he pops up to try to freeze the runner.
That one slides the plate for Chalmers, and we've got strike 1 here with a 3-1 count.
Just got to settle in. You know, it's tough to just come out and get right into a competitive environment like that.
Here's the pitch. That one skins the plate, and we're at a full count here now for Archer. Archer settles in. Chalmers checks the runner over his left shoulder. Now the pitch. Runner's going to go. This one's going to be hit out. Picked up by Martin. He'll throw to first, and that will get the out. But just like a sack bunt, it moves the runner to second.
Exactly. Well, and, you know, Martin there made a very good judgment decision. He caught the ball right between first and second, and there's a chance that if shortstop is over to second fast enough, you could have turned 2 there, but everyone's known since Y ball, you know, you just go for the easy out in a situation like that, and Martin executed perfectly.
That'll bring up the third baseman, number 2, Justin Vandebrake. And the first pitch to Vandebrake is a ball.
Vandebrake, another batter for this Yakima team who just has been tearing it up so far, batting .800, 4-5.
Here's the pitch. This one will foul off over the first base dugout. Evens the count out at 1. Let us know you're listening. Give us a tweet. We'd like to hear it. Where are you listening from? Who are you cheering for? Taylor, go ahead and give us that Twitter handle.
@feather_24, as we're going to get a base steal attempt, and ball
and Schock will throw that one over the head of McHugh, and the runner will come home. And there you are, talking about that leadoff batter walking, and will bite the Mavericks as Yakima strikes blood.
Good about. He just airmailed that thing straight into left field when he was trying to get that up to third, and his reaction was good.
With an even count at 2. He'll foul that with the Mavericks. First base line. Jaron Graham, it'll roll out about 2 feet into the field of play. Jaron Graham, one of the for the Mavericks.
Good hustle play right there.
Yeah, that's nice hustle by the young man.
Boy, Chris, I'm worried about that costly error up on the board early for the Mavericks.
Here's the pitch over Chalmers' head. It'll bounce at second, and Jovetic will pick it up on the knee in center field. That'll bring up the second baseman, number 4, Xander Orudas. Or Ahudos.
Well,
he would pitch yesterday for Yakima.
And while he was pitching, 3 of 6 from the dish. Couple RBIs for him, too.
Bottom of the first, one out here for Yakima. They've got a 1-0 lead over the Mavericks.
Well, Yakima already doubling their steals totals from just the other day.
Here's the pitch. This one will be fouled off into the netting. And we'll have an even count at 1 here.
When you see Vanderbreak, he was making a play for second there before that got fouled off. Shock's going to have to really buckle down here, see if he can't throw him out.
Chalmers settles on the mound, checks the runner over his left shoulder. This one will be hit right at Chalmers. He'll glove it. Martin dives for it, can't get it. It'll roll to center field, and the runner will come around from first to third. And with one out here, Yakima has got runners on the corners. That'll bring up number 32, the first baseman, Colt Dietrich.
See, and that's how it starts right there for the Mavericks. You walk the leadoff man, and he ends up going first to third and then home without a single hit being registered in the game.
You get to tournament time, Taylor, and it's got to be mistake-free. Mavericks trying to settle in here. Chalmers now with the pitch. Runner looks like he's going to go, and that's a ball. I'm really surprised. And there it is right there. That's what I was going to say. Chalmers, 19 pitches, only 9 of those have been strikes. And I know Coach Hathaway is going to want to check in with his young pitcher.
Interesting. Hath not out on third base. I think that's the first time I've seen that. Is that common?
Well, they're on defense right now, so.
Oh, that's true. Well, the Yakima base coaches are also wearing Mavericks navy blue.
Yeah,
that's what threw me.
I understand.
Ah. And that would explain that, Chris. I give you that one.
So Dietrich settles in. Chalmers. Runners at first and third for Yakima. Now Chalmers ready for the pitch. It's on its way. Runner's going to go. This one's going to be hit down the first base line. Foul. And we even the count out at 1 here. 1 out. Bottom of the first. Yakima leads Missoula 1-0. Dylan Chalmers settles on the mound. Throw to first. We started out the day with a successful pickoff play in the opening half inning.
Beautiful. That's nice. Well, Chris, and you know, you're in a tough spot here. Runners on the corner, 1 out. Any kind of a pop to the field is going to probably produce a run.
That one's going to be high. We'll go to a 2-1 count here. Graham getting lots of exercise as he's chasing down foul balls down the first base line here for the Mavericks. Throw to first. Runner gets back in time. Chalmers now settles. Here's the pitch. Bounces in front of the plate. Picked up by Buchanan. He'll throw it over to first, and it's there. Just in time for the out, but Yakima will score, and they take a 2-0 lead here in the opening inning. And catcher number 11, Eric Tosley, will come to the plate. Tosley will settle in. 2 outs here, bottom of the first. Just Yakima getting to work right away.
Yeah, you see it here. 2 runs here in the first inning.
Showing bunt. Chalmers will skin the plate for strike 1. You talked about it yesterday, Taylor, of getting in the pitcher's head too early with that warm-up, and this one's going to be hit out into left field. Busey's going to come up, and he'll have it, and that will end the inning. So Yakima, they'll score 2, leave 1, and they'll lead it 2-0. We'll be back in 60 seconds on Fox Sports Radio. Welcome back to Fox Sports Radio, 1450 and 92.7. Chris Stratton here with Taylor Featherman as we have Game 7 of the 2017 American Legion Northwest Regional Tournament. Missoula, Montana taking on Washington, and Washington leads 2-0 here at the top of the second inning. On the pitcher's mound for Washington is Riley Lublin. Leadoff batter for the Mavericks here. That'll be number 16, the left fielder, Sam Busey.
Number 16, Sam Busey.
Busey struggled in his opening game of the tournament here, only 1 for 4, but that one hit was a bases clearing triple. I'm sorry, bases clearing double. Bases were loaded.
So the Buse settles in. Here's the pitch. Swung on. This one's going to go high and deep into left center, and the center fielder's there for out number 1. That'll bring up the cannon, number 10, the shortstop, Brandon Buchanan. 667 yesterday.
2 for 3 with a run scored and an RBI. Brandon Buchanan, for being just called up to Double-A mid-season, doing pretty well in his first tournament, as that one's going to go outside for Lublin, ball 1.
Yeah, Buchanan, I've noticed that the last few games that pitchers have pitched him differently. Here's the pitch. That one's high, and we go to a 2-0 count here. Lublin with the pitch. That one's outside, and Buchanan will face a 3-0 count here. 1 out here, top of the second. Washington leads Montana 2-0. And that one will catch the plate for strike 1.
3-1 count here. You just got to keep your eye on this one if you're Brendan Buchanan. There's a walk in sight for you.
This one's going to be pounded down the first base line. It's going to go foul, and it's going to land outside the park into the little roadway that goes behind the park and out to the little grassy knoll seating area underneath the osprey nest.
That one looked like if it stayed a little bit further left, might have had the distance to clear the pole out there in right field. 287 to the fence.
Here's the pitch by Lublin. He'll reach for this one. It's going to go deep into center field. Backing up as a center fielder. He's there for the catch, and that'll be out number 2. That'll bring up the designated hitter, number 6, Bo King, his first opportunity to bat on the tournament. James Martin will go to the on deck.
We've seen the Mavs able to start a lot of rallies with the 2-0, or up, I'm sorry, 2 strikes in. Something a lot of teams struggle with is that first one's going to be caught on the edge for a strike.
First pitch to King is a strike. Catches the... And we're at a 0-2 count here very quickly for King. Nods his head, does Lublin, and then the pitch. Outside, and we've got the first ball to King. So a 1-2 count here for King. 2 outs, top of the second. Washington leads Montana 2-0. Now that Bozeman's been eliminated, we can just say Montana. And King reaches for it. They look down the third base line and the first base line, and Jeff Maxey says safe, and they'll call it a ball. So even count here now for King.
You got to be careful with those kind of check swings there. It looked like he might have gone through, but
King will swing on this one. It's going to foul off into the bullpen for the Mavericks, and the first baseman is there for the out. So the Mavericks, they'll go 1-2-3, and Yakima will hold them off. We'll be back in 60 seconds on Fox Sports Radio, 1450 and 92.7. Welcome back to Fox Sports Radio, 1450 and 92.7. Chris Stratton here with Taylor Featherman at Oakland Park Legion's Field. Bottom of the second inning, and leading off for Washington is number 44, the designated hitter, Cody Crow.
And this is going to be Crow's first at-bat of the tournament here, as that one's going to come right down the pipe for a strike from Chalmers.
So you have a rough inning with your pitcher. You got a half inning to get him checked in. Let's see if Hathaway did that. Here's the pitch. Swung on. This is going to bounce down the first base line. Frazier will pick it up. Tosses it to Chalmers. He will win the race to the bag. And that will be out number one.
So far, Chalmers both pitches down the pipe here in the beginning of this inning here. So it would appear as though he's been righted, but we'll have to see here.
That'll bring up the right fielder, number 10, Spencer Bailey. Here's the pitch by Chalmers. Swung on, did catch the end of the bat. Regardless, though, it is a strike. Got a nice crowd in here for Game 7. And Chalmers will throw a ball on that one to even the count out at 1.
Now, Bailey struggled in that first game for Yakima, only 1 of 5. But he did walk quite a few times. He was able to get 3 runs home.
Swing and a miss for strike 2. And you can hear the sirens on Broadway. Oakland Park nestled along the river here in Missoula, Montana on the Clark Fork. Here's the pitch. Swung on. He'll stay alive, fouling it in the netting over the first base line. Chalmers will take a deep breath, and now the pitch. Swung on and missed, and Chalmers will have his first K of the game, and Schock went to throw that one down the third baseline and missed McHugh again. Shakes his head. I know Schock. He'll take that personally and beat himself up out about it. That'll bring up the left fielder, number 20, Mitchell Belton.
And while Schock's bat is welcomed in the offensive section, we've seen Clayton Frankie, the backup, as we see a bunt attempt there that's going to be counted for ball 1.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure if Hathaway will take the risk of pulling Schock out of there. I mean, Frankie is good behind the plate, but just like the pitcher, that one's going to be low. And we go to a 2-0 count here with 2 outs. Schock's the kind of guy that you can kind words, he'll straighten out. Count here now.
Belton batter for 2 of 4 in the earlier yesterday of time.
The pitch by swung on. And the batter will stay alive with a 1-2 count.
You know, Chris, what an odd way for me to say in the tournament so far. 2 of 4, 2 runs scored, 2 RBIs. Batting .500 so far.
Here's the pitch by Chalmers. That one will catch the plate, and Chalmers will finish out the inning with a K. Looks like he's working his way back in here. It's 2-0 Yakima. We'll be back in 60 seconds on Fox Sports Radio. Welcome back to Fox Sports Radio, 1450 and 92.7. Chris Stratton here with Taylor Featherman. Top of the third inning here, and Washington leads Montana 2-0. And the second baseman, James Martin, leading off the inning. He's also the leadoff batter in the lineup. Here's the pitch by Lublin. It's in the dirt. First ball, 1.
Martin led the game off in the first inning for the Mavericks with a deep pop. But very good so far in the tournament, not only offensively but also defensively.
Here's the pitch. This one will be bounced out. Shortstop will pick it up in the dirt. The throw to first is there, and the out, and Martin is retired. That'll take us to Nick Jovetic. And going to the on-deck circle is Dane Frazier.
Jovetic in that first inning had that little shot towards second base that just kind of got fumbled, and then he ended up beating it out to first base with his wheels because Nick Jovetic is fast.
Here's the pitch by Loveland. That one's inside for ball one. Jovetic settles in the box, and here's the pitch. He'll swing on this one. It's going to shoot straight up in the air over second base. Actually, it'll roll out to third, and it'll be caught out at the fringe at shortstop, and that'll be out number 2. That'll take us to Dane Frazier, and Spencer Schock goes to the on-deck.
Mavericks just struggling to kind of get in a rhythm here so far this game. Still trying to figure out Riley Lublin, who's pitching a very good game so far. Only 2 hits allowed here.
Here's the pitch by Lublin. That one will be low for ball one. He'll settle in. And now the pitch. That one's high. And we quickly go to a 2-0 count here against Frazier. Frazier's done a great job out there at first base this year, replacing Jonathan Mitchell. They had Schock out there for a little bit, but Frazier stepped up and said, I can handle it. That pitch outside for 3-0, and he's done a fine job of it. The only time here in the season since he stepped at first was a couple of games in the state tournament where he tweaked his back in Lethbridge. That one catches the plate, and we've got a 3-1 count here now for the first baseman.
Schock earlier on his first at-bat just popped out to right field. I'm sorry, Frazier that is.
Frazier with a check swing. They say he went all the way, and that'll be strike 2, so we'll have a full count here with 2 outs.
Single earlier is what I was meaning. I accidentally read Schock's line there. My apologies.
Here's the pitch. Swung on and missed, and Washington will finish out the inning with a K. It's 2-0 Washington on the scoreboard. We'll be back in 60 seconds with the bottom half of the third. Radio 1450 and 92.7. Chris Stratton with Taylor Featherman. Bottom of the third inning. Washington leads Montana 2-0. And the leadoff batter is the leadoff batter in the lineup, number 14, Bryce Hegelson. He'll foul this one off for strike 1.
Now Hegelson was the man who got that walk to lead off the game and ended up stealing both third base and then home after Schock airmailed a ball out into left field.
This one will be hit down the third base line. It'll be foul and roll into the bullpen and now into the field of play. Busey will have to pick it up from the warning track and toss it back in as one of the coaches comes out to grab it. Umpire says ready for play after the ball clears the play field line. And Chalmers ready for the pitch. 0-2 count. Here's the pitch. Swung on. This one will bounce out to McHugh. He'll throw to first high, but Frazier will stick it, and that will be out number 1. Great job by Frazier to stick in there.
You're absolutely right. I mean, Chris, that one was pretty high. Frazier had to come all the way up off his tippy toes, kind of like a one-legged jump while keeping the other down on the bag. That was an athletic play there by Dane Frazier.
So that'll bring up the shortstop, Dak Archer. Here's the pitch to Archer. He'll foul this one off into the parking lot, down the third base line for strike one. Seems as though maybe Chalmers is settled down here. It's a big... This one's going to be fouled off just like the first one. It's a big stage to be on as a young pitcher.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, this is the biggest stage any of these players, unless they've been to the regionals prior, have been on. I mean, the state tournament's a lot of fun, but you've played those teams so much throughout the season, Montana, Alberta.
This one bounced to Chalmers, can't get a glove on it. It'll go past Buchanan, rolls out into center field. Jovetic will pick it up on the knee, and Yakima with one out here in business once again. That'll bring up the third baseman, Justin Vanderbeek.
When Vanderbeek earlier in today with that nice single that really got that little two-run burst started for Yakima. But as I was saying, I mean, as far as the stage is concerned, you know, Dylan Chalmers has seen a lot of the Montana, Alberta teams throughout the season, but, you know, they've never played Yakima during regular play.
Yeah, and it's a whole new breed of talent. That's why these kids are the cream of the crop for each one of their states. The winner of the game will move on, and, well, both teams will move on, but the winner will play Medford, or let's check that. The winner will play the winner of tonight's game versus Cheyenne and Hawaii at 7 tomorrow. The loser will play the Twins out of Idaho at 1 tomorrow. Games at 1, 4, and 7 tomorrow. We'll take the morning off.
That'll be good. Get yourself a sleep in.
Yeah, we don't sleep in. I've got kids. So with one out here, a runner at first, Chalmers will go to first, and the runner's got to dive back in.
Chalmers and Schock working together very well to try to maintain runners, keep them from stealing. The only mishap being the air.
Runner's going to go. This one will bounce out. Buchanan will get it at short. He can't handle it. The throw to first is shot over there, but not in time. And the runner will reach off the air on where he bobbled it. Sometimes it seems like the cannon gets fancy with how he handles the ball out of the glove, and that runs into trouble, gets him in trouble.
You just saw it was really, and if it wasn't Frazier doing one of those kind of hops, that ball might have got past him, and then you're talking a serious problem. Runners advancing from first and second to second and third, maybe even worse. Keep composure. If you make a mistake, that's fine. Don't make it worse.
Here's the pitch by Chalmers. Swung on. Foul into the dugout of Washington down the third base line. And we'll start out with a strike. One out here, bottom of the third. Washington leads Montana 2-0. Chalmers will check the runner at second, who's got a step-and-a-half lead. Swung on and missed, and that'll be strike two.
That was a beautiful pitch by Chalmers, just going away and also off speed.
So Chalmers, we're only 3 innings in. He's got 45 pitches under his belt. Here's the pitch. Swung on. This one's going to go deep into center field. Jovetic comes up for it. Gets it on the slide. And that will be out number 2.
Jovetic showing off out there a little bit. Keeping his composure, chasing that ball right at the sun. And then a little bit of a dive there while he gloved that one.
Well, you know, we had the opening ceremony's guest speaker, and he would speak about scouts being in the crowd to, if you can hit as hard as you can. If you can run it out. If you can throw it hard. Jovetic showing off. Here's the pitch. This one will be hit. Buchanan not able to get to it. They'll bring the runner around from second. He'll come around third and score. And with 2 outs here, Washington takes a 3-0 lead in the bottom of the third here. And that will bring up Eric Towsley, as I have not been marking off my batters on my sheet here. That's the catcher. So runners at first and third, 2 outs here. Schock steps in front of the plate to signal the field. Washington leads 3-0 over Montana. Both teams winners yesterday. One will advance to the winner's side of the bracket. The loser will. And the throw to second. Buchanan's there. The runner will hold. They'll throw home. Schock is there. They say safe at home. And Yakima will make it 4-0 here.
And also he got second.
And the runner got second as well. You're right.
And the bag, or the home plate, is pretty much essentially completely gone.
Schlosser will clean the plate off. Not that you can really tell now that he's cleaned it off.
What a turn of events there.
It's huge. 2 outs here, bottom of the third. Washington leads 4-0. Runner at second, step and a half lead. Chalmers with the pitch. Bunt laid down. Chalmers will pick it up. The throw to first. Frazier's got it, but that will end the inning. They'll hang one, they'll leave one, score 2, and it's 4-0 Washington. We'll be back in 60 seconds on Fox Sports Radio. Welcome back to Fox Sports Radio, 1450 and 92.7. Chris Stratton, Taylor Featherman, Ogren Park Allegiance Field. Game 7 of the 2017 Northwest Regional Tournament. And Washington leads Montana 4-0 here. Top of the 4th inning. Our leadoff batter is the catcher, Spencer Schock.
Schock so far on the tournament playing very well, especially at the dish and also defensively before today. 2 of 5 so far, also 2 runs scored in RBI.
Riley Lublin on the mound for Washington. Here's the pitch. That one will bounce in front of the plate for ball 1. Drew Leonard in the on-deck circle for the Mavericks.
Well, Lublin's pitch count also high, much like Chalmers, now at 51 pitches, which is mirroring Chalmers. 28 of which are strikes, though.
Here's this one, popped up over the fencing, and will even the count out, or actually it'll move to a 1-2 count as Game Tracker is just a little bit behind, and Game Tracker will actually say it's a 2, even count at 2. Here's the pitch, outside. I believe that's what it says out there on the scoreboard. Can't quite see because the way the sun is positioned just perfectly. Here's the pitch. Swung on. This one's going to go deep into left field. It's got some legs on it, and that one will bounce off the Plum Tech wall. Jovetic will Schock will round to second, and he'll have a stand-up double.
A leadoff double is just about what the doctor ordered for this Mavericks team here today.
So that'll bring up the right fielder, Drew Leonard, and Ryan McHugh goes to the on-deck. So leadoff batter with a huge double, Schock. He's got a 2-step lead at second. Mavericks in business here. Leonard settles in. Here's the pitch. High for ball 1.
Well, Leonard hasn't been a slug at the plate either so far. In his previous game, 2 for 4 with 2 runs scored, and then so far here tonight he's already walked once. So showing that he can use the batter's eye a little bit there.
Lublin with the deep breath and then the pitch. That one will catch the outside of the plate on the left-handed batter. Evens the count out at 1. No outs here. Top of the 4th. Washington leads Montana 4-0. Leonard settles in. Lublin nods the pitch. Check shock at second. Here's the pitch. That one will go off the toe of Leonard, and he'll get a free base.
Now you got 2 on, no out. This is a great opportunity here for the Missoula Mavericks as Ryan McHugh comes up. A player who's been hitting exceptionally well so far throughout the tournament. 600 before today, and then so far today, nothing. But he did have a nice pop out at that last inning.
So the third baseman settles in. Sam Busey in the on-deck circle. Here's the pitch. Swung on. This one's going to hop into center field. It'll hop just over second base. They'll load the bases up. Schock, the third center fielder, can't get to it. Schock will round. He'll score. The Mavericks are on the board. Here comes Leonard, and he'll score. And just like that, the Mavericks are back into it. 4-2 Washington.
Bryce Hegelson did a great job getting the ball tracked down when the bases just loaded, but unfortunately he didn't pick it up. He ran past it and didn't register it. So then you have guys on both second and third both rounding and coming home by the time he even had the ball launched.
So McHugh at second, Busey in the box with no outs here, and Buchanan in the on-deck circle. Lublin, his first test of the game. Here's the pitch. Busey will watch that one go by for strike 1.
And that kind of play there has really got to put a smile on Dylan Chalmers' face, because that takes a lot of pressure off him with a little run support.
Top of the 4th, Washington leads 4-2. Lublin steps off. McHugh goes back to second. Now he settles back in, and McHugh with a 2-step lead out there at second. Lublin will check him. Now the pitch. Swung on. This is going to bounce down the third base line. McHugh will hold at third. The throw is over at first, and that will bring the runner down. And Hathaway says, with runners for the Mavericks, and the cannon, Brandon to the plate.
Now that, what a turn of events. A couple unforeseen errors there by Yakima with Brendan Hagels to center field. And now you're looking at a situation scoring no outs.
So Buchanan settles in. Bo King in the on deck. This one will be hit down the third base line, and they say foul. Everybody's heart stops as that one looked like it was going to kiss that line all the way down.
I was going to say that right there is a killer when you got runners in scoring position rolling all the way down, because that did end up clear down by that corner. Luckily, that was on the other side of the line for Yakima.
Here at Oakland Park, the third base line is 309. First base line is 287. Center field is 398. The mark to split right field and center, as Buchanan watches that one go by for a ball, is at 409. I don't see a mark out there to split center field and left field.
Nor do I.
But it is a smaller field than Lindbergh-Craig Field, where the Mavericks play on a regular basis. Here's the pitch. Swung on. It'll bounce out. Shortstop will pick it up in the dirt. Bobbles it. Not able to get it. And that will bring McHugh home, and the Mavericks pull within one to make it 4-3. And with no outs here, they've got runners on the corner, and Bo King will step to the plate.
Another tough break for this Yakima team. That's 3 errors just in this inning, all of which have produced some sort of a scoring situation for the Mavericks. And the Mavericks will just take as many as they can get.
Easy pickings, and that's going to bring out the manager and the catcher. Catcher for Washington today is Eric Towsley, and the manager, very what's the word for it? Using his hands a lot there.
Well, but you can't really blame.
Mike Archer is the manager for Washington.
Lublin's not at fault for anything that's going on here. There's just been a lot of fielding errors for this team.
Yeah, there's 3 on the inning, and they've got 3 on the game, but all 3 have come in this inning. So runners on the corners for the Mavericks. No outs, and Bo King settles in. Lublin will check the runner at first. Here's the pitch. That one's inside on the right-handed batter for ball 1. King will settle in. And now the pitch. That one's in the dirt, and we've got a 2-0 count here for Bobo.
Bobo, is that the nickname?
We're going to start with that one, and we'll see where it goes.
Okay, Bo King, or Bobo, as you may call him. 0 for 1 tonight with a fly out, but now he's got runners in the corners and still no outs for the Missoula Mavericks. This is coming to him on a silver platter right here, Chris.
Lublin with the pitch. He'll hit this one down the third base line. It'll stay fair. Runners will advance, and he will be safe at third, and that will load the bases up for the Mavericks. And here comes the nut, James Martin.
Well, and I didn't credit Colt Dietrich with that first error, but that one there, I don't think that's going to be registered as an error, but he just caught the ball, and I think he thought his foot was on the bag, but it wasn't. And then by the time he got it there, Bo was already on base. But I do want to point out a smart play by Justin Vanderbrake out there at third. He went for the tag before he threw to first, which you might catch the Mavericks, kind of sleeping there. Sam Busey out there at third. He surely wasn't.
Buse is usually paying attention to what's going on, but we've seen several outs today because of that. This one Martin will hit. It'll roll into right field, and the Mavericks tie it up at 4 as the Buse comes across home plate.
Tied up at 4, Chris, and there's still bases loaded, nobody out for this guy right here, Nick Jovetic, a player who has already hit 1 home run here in this tournament and has just terrorized pitchers all season long. I mean, one of his triples here, and this is a whole different ballgame.
Well, and we were talking to his dad last night. Only 6 or 7 triples away from breaking the career triple record as a Maverick.
He has the season.
He has the season, but he's working on the career. That one he'll watch go by for strike 1. Dane Frazier in the on deck. Bases, no outs here.
That was his pitch there, right down the pipe.
Nick's patient, though.
He is, absolutely.
Intelligent athlete, calculates everything. Here's the pitch. He'll swing on that one for a miss and strike 2.
Jovetic today 1 for 2 with a big single early on. And then a fly out.
Bases loaded here in the top of the 4th. No outs for the Mavericks. Here's the pitch. Jovetic, he'll foul this one into the grassy seating area.
See, and that was a real big cut there by Jovetic.
And that will make it, or Jovetic will stay alive on the 0-2 count. Tied at 4, top of the 4th. Here's the pitch. Swung on. This one will bounce out past the first baseman. That'll bring Busey home. They'll hold the runner at third, and the Mavericks take the lead 5-4. No outs, and here comes Dane Frazier with loaded bases.
Well, and they're just really laying the boots here to this Yakima team because, Chris, once again, the bases are still absolutely loaded with nobody out. I mean, this is a really tough spot to be in for Yakima, and it's really not Lublin's fault is the unfortunate part.
With no outs here, the Mavericks have slapped 5 runs up on the board. Here's the pitch to Frazier, outside, ball 1.
I also got to say, I love how Coach Hathaway is coaching this. He, rather than, I mean, he might have been able to send another runner home there, but he realizes the situation is a no-out situation, so he just, take your time.
Here's the pitch. It's high, makes it 2-0. You know, when you've got a loaded bases situation like this for a pitcher and they've been just racking runs in here, it's got to loosen you up where your pitches just aren't as tight as they were before.
Absolutely, and right now Dylan Chalmers probably has the biggest smile, I would imagine, from ear to ear because this takes so much pressure off him as that one's going to rain in for a ball by Lublin.
So 3-0 on the count, and we get some action in the bullpen down the third base line here. And it looks like number 30 Jeb Callaghan's going to warm up down there.
Well, and at this point, you just have to shake something up if you're Yakima, but really none of this is.
And Frazier thought he was going to get the walk, but the first strike and for Frazier here to make it 3-1.
I mean, Riley Lublin has been tossed into just the absolute fire right here with 3 errors by Yakima, all producing runs and bases loaded.
Frazier will swing on that one and miss, and we'll have, actually he got a piece of it for it to be fouled into the catcher, but regardless, we've got a full count at 3-2.
Well, that was a big cut there by Frazier.
Here's the pitch by Lublin. And they walk Frazier. That'll bring King home. And it's now 6-4 Mavericks with loaded bases and no outs.
Chris, it just keeps getting worse for this poor Yakima team.
And the catcher, Spencer Schock, comes to the plate.
And we've seen Spencer Schock hit Plum Tech already once this inning, which is one of the logos out here on the fence. He's got some pop to him.
That pitch outside for a ball. You're exactly right. And if he pops that out there again, there's at least 2 runs scored. Frazier's just a little bit slower than everybody else. Here's the pitch. This one's going to be popped high into left field. It's got a floater. The left fielder is there. He's got it for the out. The runner tags at third. The throw home, and not going to even come close. And Martin comes home. And the Mavericks take a 7-4 lead here in the top of the 4th. All 7 runs coming here in the 4th.
And, you know, it's not like Yakima's out of the woods now. They've still got runners on first and second with only 1 out. Their tagging up is still very much in play here. What a great inning for the Missoula Mavericks. Host team Missoula Mavericks.
Drew Leonard, the right fielder, steps up. Here's the pitch by Lublin. He'll swing and miss for strike 1. Yeah, and you've got Jovetic at second. So if they bloop a single out there, Jovetic is home. I mean, he's got wheels.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Unless it's blooped out to third here, over into left field. But here's by Lublin. This is going to be foul into the Maverick dugout. And we go to an 0-2 count here.
Well, and the thing about Spencer Schock, those last 2 hits, I mean, he's hit that Plum Tech logo both times. And that's, you know, north of 300. But if he pulls those right, he's not a pull, or I guess that would be a push from his perspective. Which, if he goes opposite field with those are both home runs. I mean, he's got pop, and he's very close to clearing the fence twice now today.
Here's the pitch. Outside, and we get ball 1 here for Leonard. 1-2 count. 1 out. Runners at first and second. Mavericks hanging 7 runs up here in the 4th inning. It is 7-4 Mavericks. Here's the pitch. Thought about that one, but it bounced in the dirt beforehand, and we got an even count at 2 now.
Well, and I'm eager to see. I mean, Dylan Chalmers is a good pitcher, but he just seemed a little rattled coming out. But now, I mean, he should be on island time. Nothing but easy breezy. I might have a lay around his neck. I mean, he gets to take a big,
go that far.
deep breath
Hathaway
here.
likes to keep him reeled in. He's not going to let any lays in the dugout. Here's the pitch. Swung on and missed, and Leonard will be struck out for out number 2. You know, we had the Osprey sound guy here last night for the Mavericks game, and he was playing little things
little
here
clips.
and there, and Coach Hathaway would actually call Paul Yarbrough, the PA guy, and ask for that stuff to be knocked off. So
really?
Hathaway, not liking what was going on with the sound system, and he'd get on his phone and call up to the press box to
during the game or after?
During the game.
Oh, wow.
Here's the pitch. Outside for a ball for McHugh.
Interesting. Well, I can see that. I mean, Coach Hathaway is a man of integrity, and while the other team was having a visit at the mound, they're playing the Jeopardy, you know, kind of the hurry it up kind of thing, and you know, Hath's all about equal opportunity for everybody. So, you know, good for Hathaway.
That one's going to beam Rhino in the left hand. Umpire says, "Are you hit?" He says, Rhino's got to take his glove off to show the umpire that he actually got hit. Unbelievable. We could hear that hitting skin all the way up here.
And he's going to make him bat again.
Wow, Hathaway Hands on his hips, making his stroll down the third base line here.
And the fans here are also upset. And this is a home crowd. This is the Missoula Mavericks crowd here.
You could hear that one come off of McHugh's hand, and Hathaway shakes his head and walks back to his box at the third base line, and McHugh's going to go ahead and bat the Boo Birds out here at Ogren Park.
I have no doubt in my mind that didn't hit him. I heard the...
You could hear it.
Yeah, well, and I saw it.
Yeah, you can see it too, but he'll settle back in, and the even count at 1. Runners at first and second, 2 outs. Here's the pitch. That one's a ball, makes it 2-1 on the count. McHugh's dad sitting up next to us in the press box here, and I could hear him voicing his opinion on it as well. Lublin now with the pitch. This one's going to be hit high over third base. Third baseman's back there. Left fielder gets out of the way, does the shortstop, and there's the out to end the inning. So the Mavericks will score 7 runs. They'll leave 2, and they take a 7-4 lead here in the top of the 4th. We'll be back in 60 seconds on Fox Sports Radio, 1450 and 92.7. Wow.
I've never seen something like that. Show me where it hit you.
I know.
What? Take off the glove.
And McHugh's like, I'll show you.
Probably had tape over it. I mean, that... that hit him. That hit him right in the hand. Wow.
Unbelievable.
That's all I needed. I mean, I'm back. I'm ready. I'm live. And I got my iScore up. Life is good right now.
Oh, you got iScore up. That's good.
Yeah. I missed iScore. Love iScore.
88 pitches in for Lublin.
Could have told you that right here.
And we're only 4 in. Wow. Welcome back to 5-7 inning. 7-4 was the pitch by leadoff bat Crow.
Chris, the fans here still kind of for that right, maybe not situation. Kind of bizarre. I haven't seen something like that.
This one will be hit out. Martin will get it in the dirt on his knees, bobbles it. The throw to first is high and not able to get. Runner will get on.
That's a tough play by Martin there. I mean, he bobbled it, and he still was able to get a fairly clean throw off the first. Just made Frazier come off the bag. But Frazier, we talked about his athleticism. He caught that in air, and it almost looked like a double clutch free throw. He swung around while he's still in air to try to attempt to get a tag down.
There's the right fielder, Spencer Bailey. Here's the pitch by Chalmers. That one's a ball.
Bailey today 0 for 1, also with 1 strikeout to his name here for Chalmers.
And we were looking at the pitch count between innings there for Lubner. He's at 88 already. This one's going to be hit out. Buchanan picks it up in the dirt. The throw to second for the out. Down the line to first in time. And the Mavericks turn the 6-4-3 double play.
All things are coming up Mavericks right here, right now. They're kind of hot. I mean, they started off those first 3 innings and just couldn't seem to get anything to go their way. And then all of a sudden, the winds changed, Chris. I mean, holy cow. With the errors of Yakima there in that 4th inning kind of giving them a little bit of a boost, and now this.
Here's the pitch. That one's a ball. And we've got the Cheyenne team in the building. They're wearing their old-timey uniforms. I love those old-timey looking uniforms like that.
With the stirrups and the striped socks? Yeah,
That's
I'm all about that.
Bunt laid down. It's going to go foul down the third base line, and we've got a strike here. Even count at 1 for Mitchell Belton.
Belton tonight 0 for 1, also with a strikeout to his name. Dylan Chalmers having a pretty good game so far, and like I said, I think he's got to have a lot of that stress off his shoulders.
Folks, we'd love to hear your comments on the game. Give us a tweet. Taylor, give us that Twitter handle.
@feather_24.
let us know what's going on. Let us know what you think about the game. That one's going to be low for a ball.
We can take criticism.
That's right. 3-1 on the count. We'd love to hear your thoughts on the 7-inning runs or the 7 runs in the 4th inning. And that's a strike. Belton thought he was going to get the base, but the umpire with a delayed call.
Belton did. He was kind of already making his way.
This one hit out into right field and into the glove of Leonard, and that will cap off the inning. Mavericks hold them off. 1, 2, 3. We'll have the top of the 5th in 60 seconds on Fox Sports Radio. Welcome back to Fox Sports Radio, 1450 and 92.7. Chris Stratton here, Taylor Featherman, as we've got the top of the 5th inning. Mavericks lead 7-4 over Washington. Winner moves on to the winner side of the bracket. The loser, they will play on the loser side tomorrow, and they will take on Medford at 1. Here's the pitch by Lublin. That one's a ball. Taking a look at Lublin's stats here. On the game, he's allowed 7 runs off 7 hits, 4 of those earned, walked 2 batters, struck out 3, 88 pitches in, 49 of those are strikes. Busey will hit this one first. It's going to be a high loader, and the right fielder will have it for out number 1. That'll take us to the cannon, Brendan Buchanan.
Well, Brendan Buchanan, who came in that last 4th inning there, not one of the players who came in twice, because we made about 1.5 loops through the order there, but and he had a big fly-out sacrifice there for the team.
Here's the pitch. Buchanan will swing and miss for strike 1.
But 0 for 2 as far as registered hits here on the night for Buchanan.
He would pick up the Batters Award at the Montana State Tournament last weekend, batting over 500. That one's going to go in the dirt over the top of the catcher's head. Martin will come out and snag it out of the dirt. Bo King in the on-deck circle.
No runners on base, but if it were that kind of pitch that got away there from Eric Townsley, that's the kind of ones that advance some runners.
Here's the pitch. That will catch the outside of the plate for strike 2. Hawaii here now. They're hiding out in the shade on the grassy knoll over there down the 3rd base line. They'll take on Cheyenne here at the 7 o'clock game. Here's the pitch. Swung on. This one's going to kiss the 3rd base line. It'll land just foul. And the fan with a deep aw. And that will keep Buchanan alive. He's got a 1-2 count here. Can almost make out the scoreboard now, Taylor.
Yeah, we're getting close.
This one's hit out. First baseman can't glove it. And Buchanan will get on here with 1 out. That'll bring us up to the designated hitter, Bo King. King looks down the 3rd base line. Hathaway with the signal. And I know all coaches take the signals very seriously, but Coach Hathaway, win, lose, or draw, if you miss a half a signal, the team's running down the line. This was going to be foul on the bunt.
Bo King tonight, so far 1 for 2, fly out in a single. That single came in that big 4th inning.
King settles back in. Buchanan steps away from first. Here's the throw. The pitch, I should say, and King will foul that one off into the dugout. James Martin in the on deck. He'll snag the ball. So an 0-2 count here for King. Lublin nods at the pitch. And now the delivery. King fouls that one off, and that will be out number 2.
Number 2, James.
That'll take us to James Martin. And Nick Jovetic will go to the on deck. So 2 outs here, top of 5. Bottom of 5, I apologize. Mavericks lead 7-4 over Washington. Buchanan's going to go. The throw to second is not there in time. Buchanan's safe at second. He's got wheels to go with that cannon of an arm.
Well, and that's the Buchanan's second steal of the tournament. He's 2 for 2 so far. At such, you know, and we talked about it a couple days ago. The Coach Hathaway, his teams are very disciplined when it comes to base running, and good example of it right there.
Lublin settles on the mound. Here's the pitch. Fouled off into the netting. Makes it 0-2 on the count. Well, I heard Hathaway early this year talking to another one of the coach, or he was talking to a reporter from the Missoulian, and they were asking him about movement. Hathaway, or about baseball being slow. Hathaway says, if you play the game right, there's consistent movement at all times. And Hathaway, that's the way he coaches. Here's the pitch. Outside for a ball. So a 1-2 count here for the Nut.
So Martin
Lublin.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Martin 1 for 3 on the day, a fly ground out, and then a single in that last inning.
He'll hit this one down the first base line. It's going to stay fair. The first baseman can't get it. Buchanan's around third. He's home, and the Mavericks take an 8-4 lead for the fifth.
Got there. Martin, I mean, luck really. It played right to the first baseman, but right before he gloved it, it took a very goofy bounce off of the actual, just straight down the foul line.
That'll bring up Nick Jovetic, and Dane Frazier goes to the on deck. Martin steps away from first. Here's the pitch. That one's in the dirt. Martin looked like he was going to go, but the catcher hold him there. And Frazier settles in. Curious, though, and this is probably a dumb thing coming out of my mouth, but when it comes to catchers on base, Jovetic will foul this one over our heads for strike 1. But when a catcher's on base and the catcher behind the plate kind of gives that fake out like he's going to throw it, I wonder how serious an actual catcher takes that.
I imagine they play just as big of a role as a pitcher, as that one's going to rein in, but we got a steal attempt, and Martin's going to take that without any hesitation.
And the Washington fans want to know why that throw didn't come out of the catcher's hand.
A fair question. Yeah, that's a fair question. They just punted. I don't know. But Jovetic today, 2 for 3. A couple of singles and a fly out to his credit.
So Lublin will settle. Here's the pitch. Bunt laid down by Jovetic beautifully down the third base line. Third baseman will pick it up, but he won't make the throw. And with 2 outs, the Mavericks have runners on the corners.
Well, and Jovetic showing that not only can he swing for the fences and drive in runs, but also he can lay down a bunt, executed perfectly, advances his buddy James Martin from second to third, now in scoring position. And Jovetic is just too fast. There's players on this Mavs team who lay down that same bunt and get caught at first base with an out, but not Nick Jovetic. He's too quick.
Dane Frazier settles in. 2 outs, top of the 5th. Mavericks lead 8-4. Runners at first and third. Here's the pitch. That one he'll watch go by for a ball.
Lublin already over the century mark on pitches, 105.
120 is the wall, Taylor, so we'll see what happens here. We have seen a little bit of action in the bullpen for Washington already. Here's the pitch. That one's going to be high, and a 2-0 count here for Frazier.
Dane Frazier 1 for 2 on the day with a single, but also he had a walk early on to kind of help get things rolling.
Spencer Schock in the on deck. 2 outs here.
And he got hit by a pitch.
Here's the pitch. That one will slice the plate for strike 1. Frazier settles back in. Jovetic at first. Takes a heavy step out there. Martin at third. Here's the pitch. Swung on. This one's going to go over the head of the second baseman. Martin trots home. Here comes Jovetic. Hathaway says hold at third. And the Mavericks take a 9-4 lead here in the top of the 5th. With Spencer Schock coming in. Runners on the corners. I think Jovetic could have made that run home, but Hathaway playing it safe here with the lead.
Well, I mean, and ever since Brendan Buchanan had that single with 2 outs, the Mavs have just been laying it on. Even with 2 outs, that's, you know, there's a statistic out there that we don't have. But batting with 2 outs is something that you don't see a very high number on. But the Mavericks doing a great job of it here today.
Caleb Callaghan warming up in the Mike Sprint and Copy bullpen down the third base line for Washington. That pitch for Schock is a strike.
Schock 1 of 2 on the day, but I mean, he hit some absolute moonshots earlier.
This one he's going to bounce out. It's going to land in left field. That'll bring Jovetic home. Runners at first and second with 2 outs. And the Mavericks lead 10-4 here now in the top of the 5th.
Mavericks are just laying it on thick here.
Number 1, Drew Leonard.
And that'll bring up the right fielder, Drew Leonard. And that brings the coach out of the bullpen, or I mean out of the dugout for Washington.
I imagine
Tosley will go out to the mound. We will probably see a switch here.
Yeah, I was going to say, I imagine this will be it for this guy.
We've already seen the conference on the mound. Usually it's a warning and then you're gone, and that's the ball handed over, and we'll have the switch. We'll step aside for 60 seconds. When we come back, we will have the information for you on the switch at the pitcher's mound. Back in 60 seconds on Fox Sports Radio, 1450 and 92.7. Welcome back to Fox Sports Radio 1450 and 92.7. Chris Stratton with Taylor Featherman. We've got the pitching change made, and the one and only Jeb Callaghan will come out and pitch.
Well, and Callaghan's adopting kind of a sticky situation here from Lublin. Mavs with already another 3-run inning following their 7-run inning. That's 10 in the last 2. Runners at first and second with 2 outs, and the Mavs, like I was saying a minute ago, have been playing great baseball with 2 outs, as now Drew Leonard comes to the plate. 0 for 1 as far as actual at-bats, but he's been walked and hit by a pitch so far here tonight. So,
looking at Riley Lublin's stats here, he would pitch 4 2/3 innings. He would allow 10 runs off of 12 hits, 7 of those being earned. Strikeout 4, walk 2. 111 pitches, 65 of those were strikes, and he would hit 1 batter. And now we're ready to go for Drew Leonard. The umpire, Phil Schlosser, will clean the plate off. Hathaway communicating with Frazier out there at second. Him and Schock. Schock's at first. Leonard settles in now. And here's the pitch. Swung on. That one will be fouled. And they bring out number 24, Bailey Capoletti, to warm up now.
Chris, you've been here all 2 days of the tournament, and then the third being the banquet. But I think that this is the clearest it's been smoke-wise.
It has. That one will slice inside on the left-handed batter for a ball. And we've got an even count here for Leonard. We were talking about that earlier today. It just seems like it's getting better and better as we go here.
Absolutely. Well, and for any listeners joining us from Yakima, there's 55,000, probably over now, acres of wildlands on fire here in Montana, and the smoke has been unbearable in Missoula.
This one's going to be hit foul over the bathrooms down the third base line. Yeah, I mean, there's just places all over the place, Montana, eastern, central, southern, western, northern. We're just getting hit hard. And we'd actually, one of the fires here in the area, the Lolo Peak fire, we would lose a firefighter yesterday. Tree would come down on him while he's trying to protect us from those fires.
It's terribly sad. Very brave.
Our thoughts and prayers go out to that family.
Absolutely.
And the outside pitch evens the count out at 2.
Well, and Chris, it's been so bad smoke-wise in Missoula that you can't even see the mountains at times.
That's right.
The previous week, but
well,
right now,
when we came to the banquet here at Ogren Park on Tuesday night, you couldn't see St. Pat's across the street.
Yeah, for sure. But right now, cleared up big time. I mean, it's like a blue sky day in July right now.
Here's the pitch. That one's inside, and we got a full count now for Leonard.
Leonard, one of those Mavs players who's exceptionally well at just keeping an eye out. I mean, there's players who swing at everything, and then there's Drew Leonard, who very selective in what he swings at, and generally he only swings at the strikes.
Well, you know, and I've heard parents and I've heard some of the coaches say that they don't really pay attention. This one's going to be hit high into right field, and therefore the catch as a right fielder to retire the inning. And so the Mavs extend their lead 10-67.
Some too painful to go through a lot and help in making from divorce child custody. Cunningham is solely on family law. It will help you land on your feet when big changes come to your family and life. Visit www.familylawmontana.com or give Kyle a call at 406-203-4678 today. Cunningham Law Services. You don't have to go through this alone. Cunningham Law is a proud sponsor of the Northwest Regional Tournament. The Missoula Prep Sports Network is Missoula's home for local sports. MPSN406.com has the news on Missoula and surrounding communities' sports heroes. Our mission is to make our local sports heroes feel just like sports heroes. Visit us today at www.mpsn406.com. Follow us on Twitter at MPSN406. MPSN406.com, Missoula's home for its prep sports heroes.
Welcome back to Fox Sports Radio. Chris Stratton, Taylor Featherman, Ogren Park Legion's Field. Game 7 of the 2017 American Legion Northwest Regional Tournament. And Montana leads Washington 10-4 here in the bottom of the 5th. And leading off for Washington is their leadoff batter, the center fielder, Bryce Higgleson.
You know, this is totally aside from baseball. It's 90 degrees right now in Missoula, but home plate umpire Phil Schlosser from Las Vegas, he might be comfortable in this temperature, no?
This one will be hit out. Buchanan picks it up out of the dirt, secures it, the throw to first, and that will retire the first batter of the inning.
Maybe acclimation. He might be acclimated. I don't know.
Could be. It's about different type of heat, though.
For sure. It's about 10 degrees cooler in Missoula right now than it is in Vegas. Yep, that's what I did during the break. Looked up the differences.
Checking up on the weather in Vegas for us, eh?
Uh-huh.
That pitch is in the dirt. And Dak Archer will start out with a ball. That pitch is a ball as well, and we've got a
Chalmers so far tonight as that one's going to ring in for a ball and push this to a 3-0 count now. But Chalmers here tonight, only 62 pitches so far to get through these first 4 innings. And that one is going to be another ball, and we're going to walk Dak Archer, the second batter of the inning. So now for Yakima, Archer on first, 1 out. And that's going to send to the plate Justin Vanderbrake, who's actually having a very good night so far, not only offensively but defensively. We've seen him get a couple good outs there at third base.
Here's the pitch by Chalmers. That one's high for a ball, yeah. So we go to a 2-0 count here. I believe it's 2-0. We can almost make out the...
Might be 1-0.
It looks like 1-0. Here's the pitch. That one makes it 2-0 now.
I'm impressed with how Chalmers has been pitching. I mean, he comes into this game just with the tough task of trying to just pitch down Yakima, which is something that I know I spoke with Connor Dwyer, the pitching coach for the Mavericks, as that one's going to slice outside, making the count 3-0 prior to the game, and he knew they were in tough. This Yakima team beat Lewis and Clark, who the Mavs beat 2 of 3, and they were lucky to do so during the regular season. As another walk will be issued
will
here.
walk another shot, yeah, and here comes Hathaway out to the mound, having a quick visit. Hathaway, you know, he's like Belichick.
That's about the best compliment right there.
Of the Patriots, which I really don't like, but he's just got that even keel, nothing really, you know, doesn't really bother him. He doesn't show emotion. So that's why I make the comparison.
Yeah, well, and they don't do press conferences after Mav games, but I'm pretty sure if they did, he would probably do the same Belichick running joke where he would talk about his players always on the snap face and the Insta chat.
Yeah. Well,
I could see that coming out of old Hathaway down there.
Well, Saturday night in Bozeman, Mavericks would lose against the Royals, and the Bozeman newspaper would head down to get a quote from Hathaway. And the writer for Bozeman's newspaper, here's the pitch, and that one's going to be inside for a ball 1 on Xander Orudis. But was up there packing my stuff up after the game, and the Bozeman newspaper guy came up, and he was upset. Couldn't get a quote out of Hathaway. That one catches the plate, and we'll even the count out at 1. And he was just, how can he not give a quote after a game? And I said, hold on, did you not get a quote from Hathaway? He goes, no. Can you get one from him? I looked at him square in the eye and I said, we lost. That's the best quote you'll get from Hathaway. Swing and a miss for strike 2.
And Chris, we've got some action down there currently in the Mavs bullpen. It looks like both Andy Brooks and Clayton Frankie are warming up for the Mavericks.
Andy Brooks, he usually comes in behind Chalmers. Runners at first and second with 1 out here. This one's going to be hit high into the middle of right field and into the glove of Leonard. The runners will hold at first and second. So that's 2 outs now here in the bottom of the 5th. That'll take us to the first baseman, Cole Dietrich.
So you don't like Belichick, huh? It's got to be something personal. That you an AFC fan, or what's the scoop?
I'm a Jets fan. So
oh, that boom, that's it right there.
That explains everything.
Hit the nail on the head. Boy, hey Chris, that's a bummer.
Here's the pitch. This one's going to be fouled off into the bullpen of the Mavericks. That should land on the party deck. Well, little backstory on that. You know, growing up, I never rooted for a single team. I rooted for a coach, and that would be the Tuna.
Okay.
And when he finished out his coaching career, he did coach in Dallas, his last official coaching job, but before that he was with the Jets. And one thing I'll never do is I'll never root for the Cowboys. So I will never.
At least I appreciate that.
I will never root for the Cowboys. So I don't acknowledge the fact that that Bill was part of the Cowboys. This one's going to be hit over Martin's head in the middle of right field. That'll bring runners around from second and third. And here come Washington. They make it 10-6. But I couldn't recognize that that was Bill's last team as the Cowboys. So I root for the Jets now because that's the one I see him as the last one he rooted for.
Huh.
But I like the way he coached. Even though if he knew that his contract was up, he wasn't going to be there the next season, he would still handle the draft as if progression would happen.
Well, for sure. I mean, you can't be the captain of the boat who's getting a life vest.
So I liked his coaching style. I liked the way he approached the game, the way he disciplined players. I just loved the way he did it. And so
fair enough. You don't got to tell me, man.
Yeah.
I'm with it. First one's going to get in there for a ball. 1-0 the count. That one's going to sneak in for a ball as well from Chalmers. 2-0. He's been struggling with his placement here tonight.
Towsley, though, looking at that 2-0 count. And the pitch. That one catches the plate. That's where he was searching for on those first two pitches. So we've got a 2-1 count now. Chalmers settles in. Runner at second with a two-step lead. Chalmers will check him out there. Here's the pitch. Swung on. This one will bounce out. Martin will pick it up. The throw to first, and that will retire the inning. So Washington will get two. They'll leave one, and they pull within 4 to make it 10-6 on the scoreboard. We'll be back in 60 seconds on the Missoula Preps on Fox Sports Radio, 1450 and 92.7.
Welcome to Access Fitness, where there's no initiation fees and no contracts. You just get results. With the top-of-the-line equipment to help you reach your fitness goals at your convenience and 5 locations in western Montana cities, no matter where you venture, you can access your fitness home. Access Fitness is open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, so you can work out at your schedule. Access Fitness, no initiation fees, no contracts, just results. The 2000
trick in the fishing. Scoop on the latest gear or images of the crew in their latest honey hole. iFly Fish Montana is your resource for angling in western Montana. David has immersed himself into the angler's culture in Montana to help you have the best fishing experience possible. Visit iflyfishmontana.com to get the latest reviews on river conditions and more. iFly Fish Montana is a proud sponsor of Prep Sports on the Missoula Prep Sports Network. Welcome back to Fox Sports Radio, 1450 and 92.7. Chris Stratton here with Taylor Featherman as we are set for the top of the 6th inning. The Mavericks lead 10-6 over Washington. A couple of big innings for the Mavericks. They would slap 7 runs up in the 4th inning and then add another 3 on in the 5th. Leading off for the Mavericks is Ryan McHugh, the third baseman.
Ryan McHugh 1 for 3 with a single and a pop out. The pop out coming after he was hit by a pitch, or maybe wasn't, I suppose.
We'll say he was hit. The umpires will say not.
Controversy.
Here's the pitch. That one's in the dirt for ball 1. So McHugh with an 0-1 count here. And Jeb Callaghan on the mound for Washington, and that one will skin the plate, and we even the count out at 1 here.
Well, and Callaghan doing a bang-up job so far. But like I said, he came into a pretty messy situation, but he got him out of that last inning pretty quick.
Here's the pitch. That one skins the plate, and McHugh will fall behind on the count at a 1-2. Callaghan with the windup. Delivery made. This one will foul off in the netting, and Ryan stays live with the 1-2 count. Top of the 6th. Mavericks lead 10-6. No outs. Leadoff batter McHugh. 7, 8, 9 batters scheduled on the inning. That one's in the dirt between the legs of the umpire. It'll bounce off the wall and roll back out to the umpire's feet.
We say it all the time, but that right there, if there's a base runner on, that's maybe even a base, maybe 2. That one got pretty far out of the way there.
Yeah, things can happen very quickly. We want to hear from you folks. Here's the pitch. This one will be bounced over the pitcher's head. Bounces off the fringe. Rhino down the first baseline. And they'll get him out at the last second. And that'll be out number 1. And that brings up the left fielder, Sam Busey. And it's actually the 6, 7, 8 batter scheduled on the inning. Busey, the 7 batter.
Busey struggling here tonight. 0 for 3 so far.
Here's the pitch. Swung on and missed for strike 1. Sometimes just a change of pitcher will get things going for a team. And it looks as though the momentum kind of shifted a little bit with the change of Callaghan. Here's the pitch. Busey will foul this one off into the netting. He'll stay alive. Actually, it'll move it to an 0-2 count here.
Which is kind of a bummer if you ask me, because Riley Lublin actually pitched a pretty good game. But there were a lot of errors, not from the pitching mound, in that 4th inning that really blew things wide open. But
Busey will reach on this one. It'll foul off over the concessions down the first base line. He'll stay alive with an 0-2 count. 1 out here. Top of 6. Mavericks lead 10-6. They've got their 10 runs off of 12 hits. Each team with a trio of errors. Here's the pitch. That one's outside, and we have ball 1 for Busey.
Which 3 errors for a Missoula Mavericks team is a lot.
Yes, it is. Andy Brooks on the mound warming up down there in the bullpen for the Mavericks. We've got spectators looking in through the fencing down there. And that one's a ball. Washington fans thought that one was a bit more inside. And it evens the count out at 2. Buchanan in the on deck. This one will be hit down the first baseline foul into the bullpen. And it will land on. So the Buse stays alive with an even count at 2. Pitch. Oh. And it makes it a full count at 3-2.
This is a good, strong at-bat here by Busey. Already up to a 6-pitch at-bat. Nope, not a math guy. 7-pitch at-bat.
Here's the pitch. He'll foul this one off.
And staying alive.
Grinding away here is the Buse. 0-2 count. Or no, full count at 3-2. 1 out, nobody on. Mavericks lead 10-6 at the top of the 6th. That one's going to go ahead, and they say strike. Busey will be struck out, and that'll bring up the cannon, Brendan Buchanan.
Number 10, Brendan Buchanan.
The shortstop, and that will stick Bo King, the designated hitter, into the on deck. We might see a switch on the mound here between innings with Brooks. Here's the pitch, swung on. Fouled off into the netting, strike 1 for the cannon.
Brendan Buchanan 1 for 3 on the day with a single, a fly out, and a ground out.
Here's the pitch. Swung on. This one's going to go into the third baseman. He'll guts catch it. Throw to first is there in time with the stretch, and they will retire the inning. So 1, 2, 3 go the Mavericks here in the 6th. Washington looking to come back in the bottom. We'll be back in 60 seconds on Fox Sports Radio 1450 and 92.7.
Stitches of Missoula is your resource for embroidery and screen printing. Stitches can handle your large-scale projects for your team, special event, or for your organization. With their on-site graphic artists and design support team, Stitches can help you turn your idea into a compelling logo. Give Stitches a call today at 406-529-2632 to speak with their super friendly staff. Stitches is a proud sponsor of Prep Sports on the Missoula Prep Sports Network. Stitches, we make you look good.
Do you have a sweet video of your sports athlete? Did you experience a sports-altering moment or something at a sporting event that wowed the crowd? Go to our homepage at www.mpsn406.com and click on the Contact Us tab at the bottom of the homepage. Email us your video. We'll choose a new one every Monday, and yours just might go viral. Visit us today at MPSN406 on Facebook and Twitter. MPSN.com, Missoula's home for Ms. Prep Sports Heroes.
Welcome back to Fox Sports Radio, 1450 and 92.7. Chris Stratton here with Taylor Featherman as we are in the bottom of the sixth. The Mavericks lead 10-6 over Washington, and the leadoff batter is the designated hitter, Cody Crow, for Washington. Dylan Chalmers still on the mound. Here's the pitch. That one catches the outside of the plate on the left-handed batter for strike one. We did see Andy Brooks in the bullpen earlier. He's usually the replacement for Brooks. That one in the same spot, just outside, looks like, for an even count at one now.
Brooks now at 83 pitches, and I'm kind of surprised that Hath left him out on the mound.
This one's going to foul high and deep into the parking lot over the third base line here.
Not necessarily because Chalmers is having a bad outing or anything. I would actually say he's doing just fine. But just because he already had a guy warmed up, and then it kind of seemed like that last inning kind of got away as a swinging strike.
Pass ball. Throw down the first. And that'll be out number two.
But, I mean, Chalmers got beat up pretty good there in that fifth inning, with those two runs, and then it could have been even more had the defense not cooperated. But, nonetheless, I'll ride with Hath. Good
Versatility
decision.
sometimes is what needs to be tested with these pitchers, and no better time than in tournament play. Right fielder Spencer Bailey comes to the plate now. First pitch to Bailey is a strike. Yeah, you're looking at Chalmers. He's got 5 innings under his belt. He's allowed 6 runs off of 5 hits. 4 of those runs have been earned. 3 strikeouts and 3 walks. This one's going to be hit over the head of Martin. Leonard will secure it in right field. And with 2 outs here, Washington's got a runner on, and that'll bring up the left fielder, Mitchell Belton. But like you said, he's 85 pitches in. 51 of those have been
throwing almost back into the strike zone.
Back with the slide. Bryce Hegelson in the on deck for Washington. Mavericks lead 10-6 here in the bottom of the 6th. That pitch outside catches the plate for strike 2. Strike 1. I got ahead of myself.
That's okay. I do that all the time.
I get excited sometimes, folks. They call time.
Mitchell Belton 0 for 2 here tonight with a strikeout and a line drive right to James Martin.
Throw to first for the pickoff, but the runner will get back standing up. 0-1 count. Here's the pitch by Chalmers. Rudder looks like he's going to go. That one catches the inside of the plate for strike 2. Chalmers keeps on this one here. Hathaway might ride him out.
Well, and in tournament play, I mean, you want to get as much as you can out of your starters, keep your pens fresh as he gets the strikeout.
Swing and a miss, and that's actually out number 2. Looks like we are the game tracker, which we're following here with stats, is ahead. Now they do mark it as 2 outs. That'll bring up number 14, Bryce Hegelson. He'll foul this one off into the barbecue area down the first baseline, and we've got people filled in the barbecue area here. We've got a good crowd here at Ogren Park. I think the official seating is 4,000.
Really?
We probably have close to 1,000 in here right now.
That must be capacity, though.
That's capacity. Here's the pitch. That one will be fouled off, and it'll go over the bathrooms down the first baseline.
So question for you.
0-2 count.
Sorry. Question for you. How do you think that works with just the grass fields you can sit in over here to the left? That is general admission seating.
I think that includes the general admission seating over there. They look at how many people they can pack in out there. And this one hit high and deep. Jovetic looks for it in the sun. He'll come up into center field and get the grab to finish out the inning. So Washington will get one on, They won't earn any runs, and the Mavericks hold a 10-6 lead. We'll be back in 60 seconds on Fox Sports Radio, 1450 and 92.7.
Welcome to Access Fitness, where there's no initiation fees and no contracts. You just get results. With the top-of-the-line equipment to help you reach your fitness goals at your convenience, and 5 locations in western Montana cities, no matter where you venture, you can access your fitness home. Access Fitness is open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, so you can work out at your schedule. Access Fitness, no initiation fees, no contracts, just results. Access Fitness is a proud sponsor of the 2017 Northwest Regional Tournament.
Some changes in life are too painful to go through alone, and Cunningham Law can help in making difficult decisions from divorce to child custody. Kyle Cunningham focuses solely on family law. Cunningham Law will help you land on your feet when big changes come to your family and life. Visit www.familylawmontana.com or give Kyle a call at 406-203-4678 today. Cunningham Law Services. You don't have to go through this alone. Cunningham Law is a proud sponsor of the Northwest Regional Tournament.
Welcome back to Fox Sports Radio, 1450 and 92.7. Bottom of the 6th inning, we've got Taylor singing along with Zach Brown here. He's a little chicken fried.
Nothing wrong with that.
No, there's nothing wrong with singing along. Just depends on who's doing it.
I don't know what you're trying to say, Chris.
Just kidding. Leadoff batter for the Mavericks here in the top of the 7th is Bo King.
Bo King 1 for 3 tonight with a single. Be interesting to see what he can get going here against Callaghan.
Callaghan ready for the first pitch. It's on its way, and that one will be low for a ball. King settles in. Still working Brooks out there. That pitch is outside. Evens the count out at 1, and Jovetic will have to snag it off the Osprey logo behind the halo. That would be Taylor Rush that's in charge of that Osprey logo. He paints that out every year. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss for a strike.
That's an interesting tidbit.
I haven't had my game track. That pitch just off ankle. You could see his pants breeze as the ball goes by.
Well, that was an 82 mile an hour as I'm finally able to make out the miles per hour, the gun screen out there, which is nice.
Here's the pitch by Callaghan. And King swings and misses, makes it a full count at 3-2.
But I mean, 82 right by the ankles, and Bo King just watched it go by. I would have got the heck out of there.
Little squeal and a run.
Oh yeah, big squeal and a run.
I don't blame you. Here's the pitch. And they'll walk King. So they walk the leadoff batter here. That'll swing us to the top of the batting order for the Mavericks. The second baseman, James Martin.
Well,
they call him the Nut around here.
That's a tough spot so far. I mean, you walk the leadoff guy and then move into the murderer's row that is the top of the Mavs batting order.
Yeah, you got Martin, Jovetic, Frazier, Schock, and Leonard. That's a tough.
That's tough. And then to McHugh, which is, I mean, it's not really a break in that Mavs lineup.
Here's the pitch by Callaghan. Martin will foul this one off, and now we've got number 24, Bailey Capoletti, out there warming up for Washington again. Umpire will come out and hand the ball directly to Callaghan. Looking at Callaghan here on what he's done so far since he's come in, he would come in and relieve Lublin, and he's an inning and a third in. He's walked and struck out a batter each. 28 pitches, 16 of those have been strikes. King's going to go, and it's a strike.
And that's the second time we've seen a runner steal the base and then just absolutely no contention by Eric Towsley back there behind the plate.
So Martin with an 0-2 count here, no outs, runner at second in King. Here's the pitch. Swung on, this is going to hop right over the pitcher, rolls to second, the shortstop with the throw there in time for the out, but King makes his way to third.
That was a real good-looking play there.
That was the best sack fly I've seen in a while.
Yeah,
I don't even know if that's a fly.
And I don't know, but fielding-wise, by Dak Archer there to get a hand on that and get it up to first in time, because that was kind of one of those weird little bloopers that takes a lot of time to get to you. So he didn't wait; he ran up on it. That was a great defensive play.
So with one out, Nick Jovetic comes to the plate. Dane Frazier in the on deck. Callaghan now checks the runner over his shoulder, and he'll step off for a moment. Both Hawaii and Cheyenne ready to go. They're hanging out in the shade in that grassy area down the third base line, and they'll call time, and Towsley will head out to the mound to speak with Callaghan. This might be just a stall tactic to let Capoletti warm up.
Well, and I think there was some confusion on signs there, because twice Callaghan would set like he's ready to pitch and then pull off and take a moment, but here we go nevertheless.
Here's the pitch. High off the glove. That's going to bring King home. The Mavericks make it 11-6 now with one out in the top of the seventh.
And Bo King steals home. Don't see that very often.
Watching Capoletti warm up, he's got a sidearm. I love watching the sidearm come out of there. That's so scary. When the sidearms are on, I mean, they can get a little bit squiggly sometimes, but when the sidearm pitchers are on, it's just a beautiful thing to watch. Here's the pitch. That one catches the outside of the plate on the left-handed batter of Jovetic, and will even the count out at 1. Sidearm pitchers is a rare breed. Probably not as much as it used to be, though. That one in the dirt.
But works for
exactly. So Jovetic with a 2-1 count, 1 out, nobody on. Mavericks lead 11-6 here in the top of the seventh. Here's the Jovetic will watch that one go by, and it'll be a strike, so it evens out. Jovetic another one of those, you know, after a run through the batting order, and that one's going to be a ball. No, they're going to strike Jovetic out. He shakes his head as he walks away from the bat. Jovetic not one to show too much emotion at the plate, but that one had him scratching his head.
Jovetic also not someone to strike out very often. Generally, he'll at least try to put something on it.
Dane Frazier at the plate. Yeah, exactly. And what I was trying to say before, Jovetic, one of those guys that he watches the pitchers with everybody at bat, and when he comes back up, he's kind of got an eye on what a pitcher does.
Absolutely. Well, and Dane Frazier here tonight, Chris, 2 singles, a walk so far to his credit. Very productive night at the plate for Dane.
Here's the pitch. That one will slice the plate, and we'll have a 1-2 count here. Mavericks lead 11-6 here in the top of the seventh. Big fourth inning. They would slap 7 runs up on the scoreboard.
Followed up by a 3-run inning.
Here's the pitch. That one way outside. We'll say East Missoula. It'll bounce off the concrete and almost back into the field of play down the first base line.
Yeah, that one just missed the entire batter's box.
So Frazier will settle back in here. Here's the pitch. This one hit right at the pitcher. It'll bounce out, rolls out into center field. On the knee to get it as a center fielder, and Dane Frazier gets on with 2 outs here.
Another single for Frazier, and the 13th hit for the Missoula Mavericks, who are just having fun with it at this point.
That'll bring up the wall, Spencer Schock.
Well, and Chris, speaking of hits, Spencer Schock has had a couple buttes tonight. That Plum Tech sign straight out about, I don't know, I'd say about 380, right? Straight out that away.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, he's hit that twice.
The Plum Tech sign splitting left field and center field. Well, it's more left field than it is center field, and there is the pitching change. So we'll have the pitching change here for you. We'll step aside for 60 seconds on Fox Sports Radio, 1450 and 92.7.
over 30 years, Garden of Eden has passionately pursued to aid Missoula's area churches in their mission to evangelize the surrounding areas. Garden of Eden has a large stock of books, gifts, music, toys, and more. Stop in to visit their full-service coffee bar and luscious homemade fudge. Shop their online store and get free shipping on orders of $69 or more. Visit them at www.shopgardenofreden.com or stop by their store at 2621 Brooks. Garden of Eden is a proud sponsor of Prep Sports and the Missoula Prep Sports Network.
Hockey Wolf and Lacrosse Wolf is Missoula's one-stop shop for all your hockey and lacrosse needs.
Check this out.
It may be warm outside, but you can still take care of your hockey fix in their 1/3 sized indoor rink.
Really? Wow, crazy.
Stop in to 1010 North Avenue West and see what they have in store for your hockey needs. Hockey Wolf and Lacrosse Wolf is a proud sponsor of high school sports on the Missoula Prep Sports Network.
Welcome back to Fox Sports Radio, 1450 and 92.7. Chris Stratton here with Taylor Featherman. We are cruising through here, Game 7 of the 2017 American Legion Northwest Regional Tournament. And we had a pitching change on the mound. Bailey Capoletti will step onto the mound now with Spencer Schock sliding into the box.
And he's coming in for Jeb Callahan. 2 innings of service. Only 1 hit allowed in 40 pitches.
Schock will reach for this one, but it will bounce past the first baseman. And with 2 outs here, the Mavericks have runners at first and second. They lead 11-6. And that'll bring up Drew Leonard. And Ryan McHugh will go to the on deck, the right fielder of Drew Leonard.
We've seen these Mavs make a lot of noise tonight with 2 outs. Something that's just, I feel like, kind of rare. Leonard tonight 0 for 2, but to his credit, he's got a walk and a hit by pitch, and he had a deep ball that got tagged up, as that one's way outside for a ball. But
yeah, that's the thing about those sidearm pitchers. Like I said when I was watching them warm up, they're a beautiful thing when they're on, but when they're not tight, they can step away from their bases. Here's the pitch. That one is just outside. Leonard thought about swinging on it and pulled the bat back.
A goofy delivery. I mean, beautiful delivery. I mean, so far outside, and then it by default curves in. I mean, that is.
Here's the pitch. That one inside, and we go quickly to a 3-0 count here.
There's just so much movement.
And getting some comments here from the Washington fans. Here's the pitch. That one will slice the plate. And we have a 3-1 count here with 2 outs. Runners at first and second for the Mavericks. Top of the 7th. They lead 11-6 over Washington. Here's the pitch. Swung on and missed, and that will make it a full count at 3-2.
Well, and Drew Leonard just trying to feel out Capoletti's pitching style here. I imagine that can't be too easy, going from 2 conventional pitchers through the first 7 innings and then stepping in against a sidearm.
How do you prepare for that, Taylor? I mean, if you don't have a sidearm pitcher in your stable, here's the pitch, swung on, and that'll be fouled over the third baseline bathrooms. But if you don't have a sidearm pitcher in your stable, how do you prepare for that?
I don't know. I mean, I'll have to ask Connor Dwyer next time I get an opportunity to, the Mavs pitching coach. But I mean, you're absolutely right. There has to be some sort of a preparation, and you know, the Mavericks, they do their homework. I guarantee you, they know that Bailey Capoletti is a side-hander. But I don't know what you would do to try to get yourself prepared for that.
This one will be hit out past the first baseman. He'll actually glove it, gets off the ground, the top to first, and the pitcher can't hold on to it, and the bases will load for the Mavericks here off the error, and that'll bring up the Rhino, Ryan McHugh.
Another error by Yakima there. They had the out at first, get him out of the inning, while the runners, which they left right before the actual hit was made. So the runners were going to be at second and third regardless of what happened at first. But you have a chance to get out of the inning and just can't hang on to it over at first base. It's Colt Dietrich.
Here's the pitch. That'll be outside for McHugh. Ball 1. 7 o'clock game coming up. That will be between Cheyenne and Hawaii. They're hanging out in the shade waiting. Here's the pitch. That one will be bounced out to the shortstop. It'll bounce funny off the fringe. The throw to first is there. No, it's not. And the Mavericks, they will score 2 as Frazier and Schock come home. And the Mavericks take a 13-6 lead here in the top of the 7th.
Another great, Justin Vanderbrake got that one cleanly over. It might have been a little bit low over to Colt Dietrich, but he just, once again, couldn't get his glove on the ball as it rolled right past him.
Well, Vanderbrake had to make an adjustment on it, too, because as it hit the infield fringe, it kind of got a funny hop to it as well, and he had to make an adjustment on the hop as well. So that brings us to Buse, Sam Busey, the left fielder. And the first pitch to Buse is a strike.
Busey struggling tonight, 0 for 4 with a pair of flyouts. We'll see if he can't get things turned around here at this at-bat.
Runners on the corners for the Mavericks, 2 outs. Capoletti on the mound, and that one will be outside on the right-handed batter. Makes it an even count at 1. Mavericks lead 13-6 here. In the on deck. That one's a ball as Busey will check swing is Brendan Buchanan. I switched his nickname up because he's not really the young gun anymore. He still is, but he's going to be moving up here. But he's got an arm from shortstop there, so I dubbed him the Cannon. That's going to be a wild pitch. That'll bring Leonard home, and the Mavericks take a 14-6 lead. And McHugh advances to second with 2 outs here. Top of the 7th.
The Mavericks steal home for the second time in this game. Chris, I don't know if you've ever seen that. I certainly haven't. Stealing home is a rarity in itself.
At the Legion level, it happens a little bit more than
Fair
you
enough.
think, because
Fair
at the higher levels, Pioneer League and stuff, they're a little bit more tuned in on the pitcher's mound. Here's the pitch. That one's gonna and he'll get base. Up the cannon, Brendan Buchanan, the shortstop. And the Mavericks with 2 outs will have runners at first and second, and King, who I believe was the leadoff batter, is in the on deck.
Contention there, Phil. See if that one actually hit him.
Here's the pitch. That one's high for ball 1. Yeah, McHugh had one take him out in the wrist, and McHugh had to take his glove off to show him. I bet he's got a mark on his arm right now.
Probably.
That one, we could hear it up here in the booth where it hit skin. Way outside on that pitch, and we're quickly at 2-0 for Buchanan. First and second are the runners for the Mavericks. 2 outs. Top of the 7th, 14-6. Mavericks, here's the pitch. That one's a ball. And we go to 3-0. Washington, they would jump out and control things in the first third of the game. They'd put up 2 runs in the first, 2 in the third, but the Mavericks, they would answer in the fourth with 7 huge runs, and they call strike here. The Cannon thought he was going to have the free base and started to make his way down there. And the catcher running out, and we've got another pitcher coming out of the Washington bullpen. That would be the designated hitter, Cody Crow, coming out. Here's the pitch. Buchanan will hit this one. It'll bounce out to shortstop. The throw to first is not there in time. Yes, it is, and it will end the inning. The Mavericks, they'll add 4, they'll leave 2, and they'll take a 14-6 lead. We'll be back in 60 seconds on Fox Sports Radio, 1450 and 92.7.
Mike's Print and Copy is your locally owned print shop. Whether it's custom letterhead or business cards, Mike and his friendly staff understand that your business is important to you and will make sure that your project is handled in a professional and timely manner. Drop into Mike's Print and Copy to have them take care of your printing needs. Stop by 1503 South Russell or give them a call today at 406-728-3363 to have Mike's Print and Copy take care of your printing needs. Mike's Print and Copy is a proud sponsor of high school sports in Missoula and the surrounding community. Advertising on the web can be intimidating. Where do you start? What is the most effective way to reach the audience you are targeting? Melcrate Media can help you reach your audience, whether it's social media marketing or creating a unique commercial for streaming or radio advertising. Milk Crate Media can help you build a new website or rebuild your existing website and will bring users back again and again. Visit www.mcratemedia.com today. Milk Crate Media is a proud sponsor of prep sports in Missoula and the surrounding valley.
Welcome back to Fox Sports Radio 1450 and 92.7. Chris Stratton here with Taylor Featherman, and we are at the bottom of the 7th inning. The Mavericks lead 14-6 over Washington. Dylan Chalmers on the mound still, and the leadoff batter, that would be number 5, Dak Archer. Here's the pitch. That's a strike, so Chalmers with an even count at 1. Casey McHugh, the head golf coach for the Big Sky Eagles, walking by the window here, had a brief conversation with him. Here's the pitch outside. Oh. That's right, it is prep sports season, as golf will have their first tournament the 14th and 15th in Great Falls. Golf gets started a little bit early, but we've got our Sports Talk show, Sports Talk 406, trying to get these kids in. This one will be hit out off of the pitcher's mound. It'll bounce over Martin as he dives for it. And the leadoff batter here on the inning, Archer, will get on. And that'll take us to the third baseman, Justin Vandebrake. Trying to get these prep sports athletes in on our show, Sports Talk 406, to get them highlighted. You know, Taylor, we've done a great job of play-by-play of football, basketball, and baseball recently, but kind of hard to go out and do play-by-play for golf and cross country, and
absolutely,
that's why we created Sports Talk 406 to give those athletes the opportunity.
Chalmers on the night, 6 innings of work, 7 hits allowed, 4 earned runs in 97 pitches, and still going strong.
We did see Brooks warming up. They've been working him pretty good in the bullpen. This one's going to curve off bad into center field, and Jovetic didn't even have to move on that one as it slaps into his glove. That'll be out number 1. And that'll bring up Xander Orudos, the second baseman. This is kind of with our stats and list that they give us here from Legion, so my eyes cross once in a while. First pitch by Chalmers, 2, Orudos, is a strike.
Better than no list at all, am I right?
That's right. Mavericks do a pretty good job of taking care of us, though. They always make sure that we've got what we need.
Absolutely.
Here's the pitch. That one's going to bounce off. The runner will stay at first as it rolls down the first baseline, and Schock gathers it up.
Boy, Schock does such a great job of, even if the pitch gets away from him, he's able to pop up and just kind of posture up at the base runners. So even if he has no shot of getting the runner out, he makes it look like he totally does, and the runners usually buy into it and stop.
Such an athletic young man. This one's going to be hit out. It's going to curve off the bat once again. It'll split right and center field. The runner will come around from first and end up at third. And Orudos will have a stand-up double here. And that'll take us to the first baseman, Colt Dietrich.
Colt Dietrich has been getting some stuff going here tonight, but what a great play by Xander. But back to Dietrich, I'm sorry. 2 for 3 with a single, a double, and also a ground out. Boy, a double right now would go a long way into starting this rally up.
4 RBIs for Dietrich, though. He'll hit this one out. Shortstop picked up by Buchanan. He'll throw to third to get the leadoff batter for out number 2. Smart play by Buchanan.
Yeah, that was a thinking play right there.
So with 2 down here, that'll take us to the catcher, Eric Towsley. And here's the pitch. That one will skin the plate for strike 1. The Mavericks work out of this inning. We'll have the top of the 8th with the Mavericks. And it looks like I missed a run here.
Yep, runner came home from third.
So 14-7 on the scoreboard here in the bottom of the 7th. Runner steps away from first. Here's the pitch by Chalmers. This one will be foul down the first base line, and that one looked like it was going to kiss the line all the way down. Those are the ones that make my heart skip a beat, Taylor. The ones that hug that line.
Yeah, those are the toughest ones to field, but that was Dak Archer who was able to get the run home for Washington there to make this just a 7-point deficit.
Chalmers with the pitch. This one will be hit into center field. Jovetic will come up and let it bounce in front of him. And with 2 outs, Washington will have runners at first and second, and that'll bring up the designated hitter, Cody Crow. We would see him warm up in the bullpen for Washington in the last half inning.
Well, on that pop out to center field there, it wasn't a pop out, but it was popped out to is what I meant to say. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Jovetic was on his horse to try to chase that one down. He looked for a moment like he was going to try to make a diving play on it. The last second, just let it bounce as that first pitch is going to come in for Chalmers for a strike. And just like that, Cody Crow is down 0-1 in the count. Crow here tonight 0 for 3 with a couple ground outs. See if he can turn it around here.
Here's the pitch. Check swing, and they say ball. And it'll even the count out at 1. 2 outs here. Bottom of the 7th. Mavericks lead 14-7. Chalmers checks the runner at second, who's got a 2-step lead. This one will be hit on. It's going to go deep into right field, but Leonard is there for the catch and the out to end the inning. So Washington will add 1, they'll leave 2, and it's 14-7 Mavericks. We'll be back in 60 seconds on Fox Sports Radio, 1450 and 92.7.
Some change for 2 pay. Can help making difference from divorce to child custody. Kyle Cunningham focuses solely on family law. Cunningham Law will help you land on your feet when big changes come to your family and life. Visit www.familylawmontana.com or give Kyle a call at 406-234-4678 today. Cunningham Law Services. You don't have to go through this alone. Cunningham Law is a proud sponsor of the Northwest Regional Tournament. Stitches of Missoula is your resource for embroidery and screen printing. Stitches can handle your large-scale projects for your team, special event, or for your organization. With their on-site graphic artists and design support team, Stitches can help you turn your idea into a compelling logo. Give Stitches a call today at 406-529-2632 to speak with their super friendly staff. Stitches is a proud sponsor of Prep Sports on the Missoula Prep Sports Network. Stitches, we make you look good.
Welcome back to Fox Sports Radio, 1450 and 92.7. Chris Stratton here, Taylor Featherman, and the leadoff batter here in the top of the 8th inning for the Mavericks is Bo King. The throw to second indicate the beginning of the inning. Mavericks lead 14-7 on the scoreboard here.
Bo King with a pretty good night so far. 1 for 3, a single and a walk. But he was one of 2 players for this Mavericks team to have stolen home so far in today's action, which is something to hang your head high on. There we go. A lot of H's there.
A lot of H's.
Quite the
Wordplay.
alliteration.
James Martin in the on-deck circle. Here's the pitch. That one's a ball. Capoletti. Bailey Capoletti on the mound for Washington. Mavericks trying to hold on here. That one will be a check swing. They say he went, and that'll be strike 1. Even count here. Mavericks want to win here because then they would advance to the 7 o'clock game tomorrow night and play the winner of Cheyenne and Hawaii. Another check swing, and they say he went again. And we've got a 1-2 count here for the designated hitter. Yakima, they're wanting to win out here as well. The loser, well, they'll go and play at 1 tomorrow against Medford. Capoletti settles back in on the mound. A 1-2 count here for King. Here's the pitch. He'll watch that one go by. That'll be an even count at 2 on the ball. Here's the pitch. swung on. That one's going to foul. Hathaway will just watch it go by him as it zings into the bullpen for Washington down the third base line. You don't even get a reaction from Hathaway when the ball's coming right at him.
I was going to say, watch it go by him is an understatement. That thing almost hit him.
Here's the pitch. That one's outside, and we'll move to a full count at 3-2 now.
Bo King, another one of those guys who's got just a great eye in the box. He's got a very good sense of what's a ball and what's a strike.
Missoula Osprey, Pioneer League baseball team, are our host for the tournament, and they'll go ahead and walk King. That'll swing us to the top of the batting order to the second baseman, James Martin. But our hosts, the Missoula Osprey Pioneer League baseball team, doing a good show here for us. They've been taking care of the field. They've got a great grounds crew here that takes care of it. Ed, he's been taking care of it for a long time, and he's very methodical about what goes on with the field here. Here's the pitch. Outside, but it catches the plate for strike one. Taking care of the teams as well. They've got a courtesy area for the teams over in that barbecue area so that they can get some food after each game.
Have we tried to sneak our way in there yet?
We have, and it hasn't been successful. But
Bummer.
that throw is over, so that's going to allow King to advance to second, and he'll hold. No, but we had some Buffalo Wild Wings dropped off for us earlier today, so we had some wings.
We is being
Well, yeah,
little generous
I got
there.
a mouse in my pocket here that I shared with, but no, the Buffalo Wild Wings, they dropped off some wings, and
Wow.
that was for the staffers here, so they shared some with me.
Well, wish I was here, I suppose.
Martin will foul this one off for strike two. 0-2 count for Martin. King at second.
1 on, no outs here for James Martin, who tonight has been very efficient, 2 for 5 with a pair of singles.
B-Dubs is a huge sponsor of the Mavericks here, and they do a pretty good job. Every tournament I've worked for the Mavericks, and he will foul that one off into his own ankle. 0-2 count. I've worked here for the Missoula Mavericks. B-Dubs has brought in wings for it. They usually bring in a couple of trays early in the day. Not a big fan of B-Dubs, but I'll take what I can get. Free wings are good wings.
Yeah.
That one in the dirt. Makes it a 1-2 count here for Martin. I'm more of a native guy. When I lived in Phoenix, Native New Yorker was a block away from my house, and they put on a good show for Monday Night Football, and their wings, they drop them down to 10 cents, or at least they did back then. But they would drop the wings down on Monday Night Football night, 10 cents a piece.
Drop the price 10
down,
cents?
Yeah, drop the price down to 10 cents a piece. Usually they were a quarter a piece, but they would drop it down to 10 cents a piece.
Oh.
And that place would pack in.
Oh, that ain't bad.
I've got a Native New Yorker New York Jets shirt that I won from there. Here's the pitch. I've also got a Seahawks one and a Steelers one, just to be fair.
All right. At least you're covering your bases.
That's right. But, yeah, it's a good place to hang out. We've got a native here in Missoula, and when they came into town, I had to throw my native shirt on and go down and have wings, and lo and behold, not trying to do, but they hooked me up with a free 2 dozen wings because I had the native New York Jets shirt on. Yeah.
Wow.
I just went in there just to
Probably
show it
would
off.
have got 3 dozen if you were a different team.
Maybe. But I just wore it in there to show them love that we'd been there before, and the manager came up and he's like, "Where'd you get your shirt?" So I told him the story, and they're going to go ahead and walk Martin. That'll bring up Nick Jovetic. So with 2 outs here, the Mavericks will have runners at first and second. They lead 14-7 in here in the top of the 8th. No outs. Looked at the strikes here, and I think I mentioned 2 outs, but it's a no outs here in the top of the 8th.
No outs, 2 runners on for Nick. His mouth is watering. 3 for 5 on the night with 3 singles and a deep fly out earlier.
He would spank one over the fence last night. That one's going to be a low ball. They'll throw to second, and getting back. Wow. King shouldering his way to second. That was close. That could have been runner interference.
Well, yeah, and it looks like there might be a little discussion out there.
And that's exactly the
from Dak Archer.
The coach is going to come out and speak with the pitcher. But yeah, King, he would go into that like a shoulder tackle in the NFL. So the conference on the mound trying to square Capoletti in here. Mavericks with runners at first and second. Look at Hathaway, such a good sport. He's out there talking to the third baseman of Washington, Justin Vanderbrake. He's such a great guy and such a pillar in this community. You know,
Absolutely.
just not what he does with the Mavericks program, but you and anybody else that I've known that have had him as a teacher, they speak fondly of him.
Yeah, I mean, I've had a lot of teachers in my life who I think wouldn't remember my name, or at least wouldn't want to. And yesterday, when I ran into him for the first time in a while, I was wondering if I'd have to introduce myself, and he ran out and yelled, "Featherman!" and put his arm around me.
This one will be fouled off by Jovetic, and he'll have an even count at 1 here.
And then, unfortunately, we got into the specifics of my college math career, which he didn't seem overly impressed with.
Well, luckily, with broadcast journalism, you just got to get the minimum.
And I barely did.
You and I both. And that's a strike to Jovetic, so we'll have a 1-2 count. When I went through there, they considered statistics as a foreign language, so I doubled up.
Whoa. Dial that back.
Yeah, statistics, they consider it some people call it to be a foreign language. This will be fouled off into the Maverick dugout.
Oh, man.
And so I doubled up on that one, and then the semester after I did it, they changed the requirements.
So that's not the case anymore.
Yeah,
okay,
so that's not
I
the
was
case
thinking
anymore.
I might have just missed out on a great opportunity, because I can pass the stats class, I think.
Yeah,
I'd
stats.
say that now, but...
Well, and it was a pretty fun class. I mean, we didn't just look at athletic stats. Here's the pitch. Swung on and missed, and Jovetic will strike out. That'll be out number 1. That'll bring Dane Frazier to the plate.
There's a couple of strikeouts here tonight for Jovetic. I think he might be a little upset. He's not a guy who strikes out too often. We'll see what Dane Frazier.
Looked out on that one because I love statistics. I'm not a math guy, but this one's going to pop out down the right base line. High floater, and it will be cut number 2.
Yeah, I'm about as far from the term math guy as one can get, Chris, as we sit here and we talk about scores of ball games. I'm sure you've seen it's 14-7, and I'm going to tell you right now it's a 7-point lead, but you've seen me struggle. You've seen me struggle with things like that in the past. That same kind of simple math right there. And I got through what was like, not the dummy math course, but the math course especially for journalists who are dummies at math.
There's a special, it's general math. Yeah, no, I understand.
No, numbers is news. Easy now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's a whole new thing.
See, they didn't have that one when I was there. Here's the pitch. Shock will hit this one down the first base line. It'll stay fair. The first baseman will juggle with it, and Shock will get on. Wow, and the Mavericks load the bases up here with 2 outs.
And that was perhaps the worst first base error I've seen here tonight, and there's been a couple of them. That one rolled slowly right to the first baseman, and he had at least 3 or 4 seconds to scoop that and get up to the base, and he just couldn't pluck it out of the dirt. But wow.
So with 2 outs here, the Mavericks load the bases up, and here comes the right fielder, Drew Leonard.
Leonard tonight has been walked and hit by a pitch, as that first one's going to ring outside for a strike, and also has a single to his credit. But yeah, I passed that math class just by the hair on my chin. Made for an exciting summer of checking grades, I tell you that much.
Here's the pitch. Swung on right at the pitcher. It will roll out into center field. That'll bring King home. That will bring Martin home. And the runners will be at first and second for the Mavericks, and they take a 16-7 lead.
9 runs.
9 runs.
Did that one quick. Well, and Chris, we're kind of starting to sneak back towards the neighborhood now with a 9. I think I'll bring it up. The 10-run rule is a real thing, so if the Mavs can, with 2 outs here, sneak a couple more up on the board, 1 at least, and then get through the next inning with a goose egg, the Mavs for the second straight game will end a game in 8 innings.
That'll bring the coach back out, Capoletti. Why don't you take a look at Capoletti's stats
I'm on it.
since he's come in here. This is the second meeting on the mound. They are playing with a DH. Capoletti will hold on to the ball. Go ahead and give us his stats.
Capoletti is pretty banged up here so far, and only 1 inning, 43 pitches in 1 inning of work. I want to point that out.
And he does hand the ball over, and here comes the designated hitter,
Cody Crow.
Cody Crow.
Cody Crow's a good-sized man. But anyway, 43 pitches in just 1 inning of work for Capoletti. 3 hits allowed, 4 runs, but no earned runs to his credit, or at least that was before. Let me hit a refresh on that to make sure.
All right, so we've got a pitching change. They're going to let Crow warm up. We'll step aside for 60 seconds. When we do,
no earned runs to his
no earned runs. We'll know.
1 earned run. No. Hang on, I'll get this right. No earned runs. There we go.
No earned
to
runs.
break.
All right, here we go. To break. Back in 60 seconds on Fox Sports Radio, 1450 and 92.7. Welcome back to Fox Sports Radio, 1450 and 92.7. Chris Stratton here with Taylor Featherman at Ogren Park Allegiance Field. We are in the top of the 8th. The Mavericks lead Washington 16-7. Runners at first, second, 2 outs, and Ryan McHugh at the plate. New pitcher in, Cody Crow. Here's the pitch. That one comes out there with some speed. Although
I think I made 79 out on the gun there, but it's still hard to see that scoreboard from here.
Starting to clear up a little bit.
Ryan McHugh 1 for 5 with a single so far tonight.
Here's the pitch. Outside on the same line the first one was, and we've got a 2-0 count here for the Laser. The Sam Busey in the on deck.
I thought McHugh was the Rhino.
Well, that's what his parents call him. I call him the Laser because that's what I gave him when he was in basketball, and it kind of fits with his pitching style as well. He'll foul this one up over our heads here.
I'm going to start making up a bunch of nicknames too. See if we can't get all confused.
So a 2-0 count here for McHugh. Runners at first and second. Here's the pitch. Swung on. This one's deep into right field. It's going to bounce in front of the right fielder as he can't track it down. Schock comes home. And now Leonard and the Mavericks take an 18-7 lead with 2 outs here at the top of the 8th.
Boy, Spencer Bailey, the right fielder for Yakima, it looked like he was on it at first and then realized he wasn't going to get it. It looked like he just punted on that ball almost. I mean,
and McHugh gets a triple out of it. Yeah, I wasn't quite sure. I thought he was going to reach up there. He had a beat on it. He was right there, and it just dropped literally a foot in front of him.
Yeah. But now the Mavericks up 18-7, 11-run lead as that first pitch is going to sneak in outside, for a ball. Ball 1 to Busey. Now if they get through the rest of this inning and then down and put a goose egg up for Washington, it's game over.
And that one's going to be fouled off. Evens the count out at 1 here for Busey. And oops, sorry.
Oh, I thought I was getting a signal. Playing footsie.
Coming in here, Hawaii, Wyoming, and then Yakima was the way things looked, and the Mavericks have handled Yakima pretty well. Wyoming and Hawaii playing next, and they're watching in the shade over there down the third base line.
Yeah, well, and Sam Busey at bat right now, kind of struggling 0 for 4 here tonight. but he did get pegged by a pitch right in the middle of the back as one sneaks in there for a strike. Now, or I'm sorry, a ball. Now 3-1 is the count.
2 outs, top of the 8th. Mavericks lead 18-7. Here's the pitch. And they'll go ahead and walk the Buse. That'll take us to the cannon, Brendan Buchanan. And Bo King will go to the on deck. And Bo King's already scored a run here in the inning.
Mavs are kind of making a habit of working through the entire order in one inning. This is, I think, the second or third time they've done it so far.
Buchanan settles in, runners on the corners. McHugh at third, Busey at first. Here's the pitch. Buchanan will hit this one off the hand grips, and it's going to land. That almost came down right on the head of the coach. The third baseman, Vandebrake, he was going to make a break on it, but everybody hollering for him to stop. It looked like he might have went over the safety fencing there in the dugout.
Well, and he might have had that had he not thought that he needed to lay off.
2 outs here, top of the 8th. Mavericks lead 18-7. That's a high pitch to Buchanan. And we'll have an even count at 1. And we've got the second pitcher on the inning here in Crow. Here's the pitch. That one's low. So Buchanan in the lead on the count here at 2-1.
Crow so far in his 9 pitches already with a hit allowed. It's not going the way for the Yakima pitchers imagined.
Buchanan will hit this one off into left field. It'll bounce in front of the left fielder. That will bring McHugh home, and the Mavericks make it 19-7 with runners at first and second and 2 outs.
Washington now with a tall order. They have to put up 2 runs in the bottom of the 8th inning just to see a 9th.
That brings up the leadoff batter on the inning, Bo King.
I'm saying we're not even over in this inning. The Mavs once again with a little 2-out magic.
Here's the pitch. Low for
tonight. 1 for 3 single, 2 walks, and he stole home once. I'm still kind of caught up on that.
Runners at first and step away from their bases. Here's the pitch by Crow. That one looked like it came off the knuckle. It's outside for ball 1.
Oh.
Crow checks the second base runner. Here's the pitch. King's got to slide out of the way as that one is inside tight. Makes it 3-0 for the designated hitter.
Missoula Osprey, great. Paul Goldschmidt. Turns out he's got 3 home runs tonight in the game. That's kind of crazy.
That one's outside, and King will get walked, and we'll have loaded bases here for the Mavericks with 2 outs. And Mr. Consistency.
That's a whole new nickname. I haven't heard that one yet either.
Martin. I was talking to James's mom last night, Kim, about him, and that's what I called him last night to his mom. I said, boy, your son is Mr. Consistency lately. Over the last 3 weeks, he's consistently been a leader at the plate for the Mavericks.
When King picks up his 3rd walk there, as this pitch is going to sneak in, and he's going to crack it out to right field.
And that one will go right in the glove. Martin not happy about that, but finally the inning is retired for Washington. We'll go to the bottom of the 8th with the Mavericks having a 19-7 lead. Back in 60 seconds.
I'm Chris Stratton. This is a local look at
Welcome back to Fox Sports Radio, 1450 and 92.7. Chris Stratton here with Taylor Feathern. Bottom of the 8th inning. Mavericks lead 19-7 over Washington. Dylan Chalmers still on the mound. Here's the pitch. Swung on. It's going to hit the fringe. Martin with the catch. The throw to first just in time, and that'll be out number 1. And that was Spencer Bailey. That'll bring up the left fielder, Mitchell Belton of the Mavericks, 2 outs away from advancing to the 7 o'clock game tomorrow night against the winner of Cheyenne and Wyoming coming up next. Here's the pitch. That one's high for ball 1. Dylan Chalmers, he's been strong on the mound. Taylor, do you have Chalmers' stats there in front of you?
I sure do, Chris. Just one moment, and here we are.
Here's the pitch. Swung on, fouled off into the Maverick dugout. Go ahead.
Chalmers through 7.1 innings so far, only 9 hits allowed, which translated to 7 runs, 5 of which were earned, 4 strikeouts in 111 pitches.
Here's the pitch. That one will catch the plate for strike 1, and we even the count out at 1.
Chalmers doing a great job. I mean, he was pretty shaky starting out, and then after the 3rd inning when they got their original 4 runs on, he really was able to relax, as this one's going to be belted out. Martin has a beat on it. He's going to flip it to first in time for the out.
That one came off the bottom side of the hand grips, and it just kind of flung off the end of the bat. That's 2 down, 1 to go for the Mavericks, and they can seal their 2nd win of the tournament. And umpires calling for a pitch count. 115 is the pitch count officially for Chalmers. We'll probably see Andy Brooks here unless he retires the batter here to close out the game.
It'd be good to see Chalmers get a full close.
Here's the pitch. And that'll be fouled off. You know, we haven't talked about that Montana Club player of the game yet on the game.
I forgot.
But we had the pitcher, Dylan Barkley, earn it last night. Chalmers would be the Montana Club $5 last week. He is pitching himself a nomination right now. We'll have to take a look at the offensive stats to see if there's anybody that can bump his nation. And that pitch evens the count out at 1 here. Bottom of the 8th, Mavericks lead 19-7. This one will be fouled down the 3rd base line, and we'll have a 1-2 count here for Hegelson, the leadoff batter for Washington.
1 strike away now is the Missoula Mavericks.
Here's the pitch. That one's going to go between the legs of Schock and roll out and will sit right next to the Osprey logo behind the halo. And that'll be an even count at 2. Here's the pitch. This one will be fouled off. And Hegelson will settle back in. Here's the pitch. Swung on. Tight down the first base line, but it will land foul in the corner. Dylan Barkley down the line to snag that one. Barkley is a spectator for the rest of the tournament, as he would pitch the full 8 innings last night and push up against that 120 pitch count. So an even count at 2. 2 outs. Bottom of the 8th, Mavericks lead 19-7. Here's the pitch. This one will be fouled off. Into the dugout. Hawaii pushed up against the fence. They're ready to take the field. They can feel it as well. Here's the pitch. This one will be hit out. McHugh can't get it. Goes past Buchanan. Busey will one knee it in left field. And with 2 outs here, Washington's got a runner on. They've got to put up at least 2 runs to tie it up. Well, actually, they're going to put 3 runs up to keep from the 10-run rule, and that'll push up against the 120 pitch mark here for Chalmers. He ducks his head down as Hathaway strolls out to the mound. We should see Andy Brooks make his way in. No, he points to Ryan McHugh. So Trad Richardson will come out and go to third, and the Laser will go on the mound to finish out the inning here. We'll step aside for 60 seconds on Fox Sports Radio, 1450 and 92.7.
Welcome to Access Fitness, where there's no initiation fees and no contracts. You just get results. With the top-of-the-line equipment to help you reach your fitness goals at your convenience, and 5 locations in western Montana cities, no matter where you venture, you can access your fitness home. Access Fitness is open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, so you can work out at your schedule. Access Fitness, no initiation fees, no contracts, just results. Access Fitness is a proud sponsor of the 2017 Northwest Regional Tournament. Do you have a sweet video of your sports athlete? Did you experience a sports-altering moment or something at a sporting event that wowed the crowd? Go to our homepage at www.mpsn406.com and click on the Contact Us tab at the bottom of the homepage. Email us your video. We'll choose a new one every Monday, and yours just might go viral. Visit us today at MPSN406 on Facebook and Twitter. MPSN.com, Missoula's home for Prep Sports heroes.
Welcome back to Ogre Park, Allegiance Field. Chris Stratton here with Taylor Featherman, Fox Sports Radio, 1450 and 92.7. And a change on the mound as Ryan the Laser McHugh comes in. Here's the interesting thing here. He's a right-handed pitcher. He would get hit, although the umpire didn't recognize it, on that left hand. Shouldn't affect him too much here to close out the game.
Well, and he only needs 1 out. It's not a full traditional close. Or I should say a closing opportunity where they play just the 9th, but nonetheless, Dak Archer up now for Yakima.
Runner at first for Washington. They're down 19-7. Bottom of the 8th. It's all or nothing here. That pitch is low for McHugh for ball 1.
I like the move by Coach Hathaway to try to keep his pen, because there's still a lot of tournament left game, so bullpen.
This one will be fouled off, and this one's going to clear the barbecue deck and land on the railroad tracks to the right of us down the first base line.
That was a shot right there. But keep your bullpen ready. Put them in, you know what I mean?
You know, that's the one thing the Mavericks have done more than any of the other teams is their man on the mound has stayed consistent throughout the entire game.
I mean, you never know when you're going to run into a game that might go extra innings, or you might have a starter who comes out and doesn't feel right, or, maybe even an injury, God forbid. But nevertheless, I think it's a good move to put a player like Ryan McHugh on the mound who has pitching experience and can close this game out, but still.
This one will be fouled off, and Archer will stay alive with a 1-2 count. And that's the thing is the Mavericks stable is full. I mean, we've got still Andy Brooks in there. We've got Ricky Stevens and Parker Stevens, all very capable pitchers, and we haven't had to use any of them. We've seen Brooks warm up in the bullpen tonight, but that might have been a scare tactic for Chalmers as well to kind of keep him in check. Here's the pitch. Swung on. This one will bounce down the first base line. Frazier can't get it. It'll roll out into right field. The runner will come around to third. And now with 2 outs, here comes Justin Vandebrake with runners at first and third for the Mavericks. Schock will step in front of the plate and signal the field. Go ahead, Taylor.
I imagine McHugh's leash here is going to be pretty long, considering, like you said, they have to make up, Yakima has to make up 3 runs simply to see that 9th inning.
McHugh now settles. Here's the pitch. That one will be outside for ball 1. And then the other thing is with McHugh coming in, as long as he stays under 25 pitches, he can still come in and play another game. He could play tomorrow. He could pitch tomorrow. This one's going to be fouled, and that's going to bounce right next to Hawaii, who's hanging out there in that grassy area down the third base line. Runners on the corners, 2 outs. Bottom of the 8th. 19-7 Mavericks. That pitcher, a floater, but it is considered a ball. And we go to a 2-1 count here for Van de Breek. Here's the pitch. Swung on. This one's going to go into left field. Busey's got to get on his horse. It'll bounce off the Miller light sign in right field. The runner will come around. They signal him around third. And that will make it a 19-9 game here with a runner at second and 2 outs.
Well, and now, Chris, now we have to have a conversation. Can McHugh stick in there and tough it out and get this last out? I think he can. But, I mean, now at this point, if they drive in one more run, we'll be playing another inning.
Well, they've got a runner at second, and Xander Orudis is here. As my computer dies out here, he's 2 for 4. He'll pop this one out. That'll split against Jovetic, and here comes the 10 run, and Washington makes it 19-10 here. And number 32, Colt Dietrich, will come in.
That's Xander's second double of the night. And now Colt Dietrich, a guy who also has a double to his credit and a single.
So with 2 outs, things were looking bleak for Washington, but they squeak out 3 runs here to avoid the 10-run rule at the bottom of 8. And here's the pitch. That one will be on the outside of the plate for strike 2. A 1-2 count here with 2 outs. And we're pushing the 3-hour mark on the game here.
Wow.
Started at 4, and we're at 10-7. Here's the pitch. This one will be fouled. And the batter will stay alive with a 1-2 count.
We talk about that 2-run magic, and we see some of it right there by Yakima, able to put up 3 runs, all with 2. Stay alive.
Here's the pitch. This one's going to go high into right field. Drop between the 2, and this will bring the one. They thought they're going to be able to finish this one out in 8. That'll take us to the catcher, Ersley. So 4 runs so far here in the 8th. That's a ball. So McHugh will settle. Runner at second, 2-step lead. And here's the pitch by McHugh. Swung on. Down the first base line. Frazier with it. Tags the bag, and that will end the inning. So we'll have the top of the 9th here for the Mavericks. They lead 19-11. We'll be back in 60 seconds on Fox Sports Radio, 1450 and 92.7.
For over 30 years, Garden of Eden has passionately pursued to aid Missoula's area churches in their mission to evangelize the surrounding areas. Garden of Eden has a large stock of books, gifts, music, toys, and more. Stop in to visit their full-service coffee bar and luscious homemade fudge. Shop their online store and get free shipping on orders of $69 or more. Visit them at www.shopgardenofreden.com or stop by their store at 2621 Brooks. Garden of Eden is a proud sponsor of Prep Sports and the Missoula Prep Sports Network.
Advertising on the web can be intimidating. Where do you start? What is the most effective way to reach the audience you are targeting? Milk Crate Media can help you reach your audience, whether it's social media marketing or commercial, for streaming or radio advertising. Milk Crate Media can help you build a new site or existing website that will bring users back again and again. Visit www.mcratemedia.com today. Milk Crate Media is a proud sponsor of Prep Sports in Missoula and the surrounding valley. Welcome back to Fox Sports Radio, 1450 and 92.7. David Feely, the manager of the A squad for the Mavericks, in the building, supporting the AA players who he's coached in the past. And leading off the inning here at the top of the 9th is Nick Jovetic. Mavericks lead 19-11. That's going to be something in itself right there. 19 runs on a game in Legion baseball. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss for strike one. And that, both Hawaii and Cheyenne looking on here. They've got to be calculating on what could happen tomorrow night.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, this is just a fireworks show. I mean, holy cow. 19-11. I mean,
Cheyenne would score 10 runs yesterday to shut out Medford, and Hawaii would score 6 to beat the Bozeman Bucks 6-2. Mavericks would have 13 runs. That would match Yakima yesterday as well. So both Yakima and Mavericks, they lead all teams with runs earned. Here's the pitch. That one across the waist to Jovetic. First game today would be a 3-1 game. Game 2 would be a 6-5 game.
and then the 19
And then
to
we've
11.
got the 19-11 game here.
That's still in the works.
Jovetic with a full count at 3-2.
Jovetic-
Lead-off batter here.
Jovetic
Top of the ninth.
3 of 6 on the night with 3 singles.
Outside, and they go ahead and walk the big bat of Jovetic. That'll bring up the first baseman, Dane Frazier.
Number 7, Dane Frazier.
Speaks a lot to the heart of Yakima. You know, a lot of teams, when you're down by such a substantial amount,
That pitch outside for ball 1 on Frazier. No, I hear what you're saying.
would have
I mean,
a difficult time rallying, but they have no problem putting 4 runs up in the bottom of the 8th, and there's a little bit of life in that dugout over there.
so Crow on the mound. Here's the pitch. That one's low, but it catches the plate. We've got strike 1. Even count at 1 here for Frazier. No. Jovetic at his pitch
Ooh.
there. Passes. Jovetic Hathaway's there, young.
First to third, Nick Jovetic showing off. Whee!
And Hathaway with some instruction there for Jovetic. Always teaching is Hathaway. Always on the teach. Dane Frazier waits for the pitch. That one will catch the plate. And we'll even the count out at 2 here. No outs. Top of the 9th. Mavericks lead 19-11 with Jovetic threatening. They could stretch this out. Here's the pitch. This one's going to be hit out down the right field line. It'll land fair. Jovetic streams home, and they take a 20-11 lead here with Frazier at first, no outs, and here comes the wall. Spencer Schock.
In shock, we've talked about it a few times tonight, considering we're through our 6th run of the lineup, but he's hit a couple absolute bombs tonight. There were just a couple extra oats of cereal away from being a home run.
And the Mavericks, here's the pitch. This one will be fouled up over our heads. But their leadoff batters are at the plate for the 7th time tonight.
Shock tonight with a double, a pair of singles.
Here's the pitch. And he'll swat that one to the ground. It's going to be a strike because it's going to be a foul ball. That one came off kind of funny. It looked like he just kind of swung downwards and swatted the ball down towards the ground.
Yeah, it looked like it almost was supposed to be a check swing where he pulled it back, but he accidentally clipped the ball.
So Schock looks down the third base line. Nothing from Hathaway, so he settles in. Frazier steps away from first. It's 20-11 Mavericks. Here's the pitch. That one's going to bean Schock in the left shoulder. He'll get a free base, and that brings up Drew Leonard.
Regular season-wise, Spencer Schock led the team in hit by pitches, showing it off there a little bit. He can take a bean as we see a pinch runner come into the game now.
For Frazier, that would be Andy Brooks.
So I imagine Brooks will be taking over on the mound as well.
Yeah, slide Richardson over to first, put McHugh back at third.
That's what I'm thinking.
All speculation, folks.
Absolutely.
All speculation.
And I've done this in the past where I come up with these big elaborate schemes in which the substitutions will work when it's just a simple, oh, nope, Andy Brooks is just going to play first.
For the Mavericks, running for
Taylor Featherman scheming? No.
You know, I do what I can.
number 1, Drew Leonard.
So Leonard will settle in. Runners at first and second. Brooks has got some wheels. Frazier not as fast as Brooks. Here's the pitch. And Leonard will watch that one go by. You know, Leonard's had some great plays out there in right field, but I think he's got the cleanest jersey out of everybody. Well, McHugh's is pretty clean as well. Crow will check the runner at second. Here's the pitch. This one will be fouled off down the third base line, and it's going to land in the grassy area. And the Cheyenne players pushing each other out of the way to get to the ball as it drops in.
Drops right between Cheyenne and Wyoming over there. Cheyenne and Hawaii, excuse me. Drew Leonard tonight, a walk, a hit by pitch, and a couple of singles. Very efficient night up here at the plate. It'll be interesting to see what the compiled Mavericks statistics are heading into tomorrow's game after all of these at-bats tonight.
Runners at first and second. One out for the Mavs. Top of the ninth, 20-11. That's right, folks, 20-11. That's not a football score. That's baseball. Fouling off is Leonard for strike 2.
Right here, Tony, you got it.
Ryan McHugh in the on deck.
Well, and that
Brooks with a heavy 3-step lead out there at second. Crow will look at him, and he'll step off the mound for a moment.
Mav's not giving up anything here. You know, you come out of that bottom of the 8th. It looks like Yakima might have a little bit of momentum. If they strike out the side, maybe we get it going, and Yakima flies off, and we have a tie game or something. But
Leonard will foul that one back off as he ticks it off the bat. It'll roll back to the first baseline.
Mavericks just getting right back after it offensively with already 2 runners on, still no outs, and oh yeah, Nick Jovetic already has been home.
Makes for a long game. We are officially 3 hours and 1 into the.
Well, I'm gonna need a nap.
Throw to second. Brooks slides in.
Actually, I suppose after about 8 o'clock, that's just sleep, huh?
No. It's still a nap.
Huh?
I figure anything before 10 is a nap.
Really?
Yeah.
I'd say after 8. That's I'm gonna call that the cutoff.
My bedtime's usually 1 or 2 in the morning, so.
Holy cow!
And they strike Leonard out for out number 1. That'll bring up the laser, Ryan McHugh.
So what you're saying is you're just a night owl, huh?
I am. And then I've got kids, so I'm back up early, usually about 7:30, 8 o'clock.
And you're still friendly to be around. Wow, that's shocking. I would be just the most horrible person if I got that kind of sleep. If I'm not getting at least 8, I'm just not fun.
I'm like my mom. The less sleep I have, the better I am. They're going to go ahead and let the runners go. Sliding in is Brooks at thirds. He's safe, and Schock is at second.
Nice.
1 out here, and the Mavericks are still playing like they're behind.
Beautifully executed double steal there. Really? And you're not even a caffeine guy either.
Oh, I hate caffeine.
Chris, you are an oddity, my friend. I would... no caffeine and that much sleep. I wouldn't dare put me in the booth.
Here's the pitch. Swung on. McHugh will hit this out to the shortstop. He'll glove it. The throw to first is there in time. Brooks comes home, and the Mavericks take a 21-11 lead with Sam Busey coming to the plate.
They must just really want to 10-run this team regardless of the inning.
Number 16.
And Hathaway isn't that kind of coach.
No, but it's one thing in regular season. Yeah, hey guys, let's just get out of here, put in some rotation players. But I mean, this is the playoffs. You know, this is what all the marbles are for here. So
here's the pitch. That one will be fouled off. You know, and with the 2 top teams sitting in the shade over there watching, Hathaway might be wanting to put on a show here to kind of get in their heads a little bit as well.
maybe. But Yakima is no slug themselves. I mean,
No, not at all.
11 runs wins a lot of baseball games.
Shock at second, dancing. Here's the pitch. Busey will let it go by for a ball, and we've got an even count here with 2 outs for Busey. 21-11. That's right, folks. You're not hearing that incorrectly. It's not it's not a football game. It is Legion baseball. Here's the pitch. That one's going to be fouled off into the dugout of Yakima. And if you're Yakima watching this going on, got to gather everybody up after the game tonight back at the hotel and get their heads back up on the swivel. Here's the pitch. And that one's a ball. Evens the count out at 2 here with 2 outs.
I mean, the thing
Shock at second.
The thing about this Yakima game is that offensively, 11 runs, like I just said, that wins a majority of baseball games. So if you're Yakima, the tournament's not over. I mean, you come out of this, dust yourselves off.
Busey will foul that one up over our heads, and he'll stay alive with an even count at 2.
I mean, the Missoula Mavericks just won the Montana tournament from the loser side of the bracket. It's doable.
They actually won from the winner side of the
I
bracket.
thought the Royals beat them one game.
One game, but they won.
Oh, was that
they
during
put
the
their,
champ?
They earned their way into the championship on Friday night, going 3-0.
I misunderstood
beating
how that
Helena.
worked out.
Yeah, so they had the championship game as of Friday because of the only team having a 3-0 record. They did lose to the Royals on Saturday night, and I know Couch Hathaway doesn't like it, and the boys don't like to hear it, but it was kind of a throwaway game. Swing and a miss for Busey, and that retires the side. Mavericks add 2, making it 21-11. We'll be back with the bottom of the inning. It's all or nothing for Yakima in 60 seconds on Fox Sports Radio, 1450 and 92.7.
Hockey Wolf and Lacrosse Wolf is Missoula's one-stop shop for all your hockey and lacrosse needs.
Check this out.
It may be warm outside, but you can still take care of your hockey fix in their 1/3 sized indoor rink.
Really? Wow, crazy.
Stop in to 1010 North Avenue West. Hockey needs. Wolf is a proud sponsor of high school sports on the Missoula Prep Sports Network. The Missoula Prep Sports home for surrounding communities. Our mission is to make our local sports heroes feel just like sports heroes. Visit us today at www.mpsn406.com. Follow us on MPSN406, MPSN406.com. Missoula Prep Sports Heroes.
Welcome back to Fox Sports Radio, 1450 and 92.7. Chris Stratton, Taylor Featherman. We are in the bottom of the ninth. The Mavericks lead 21-11 over Washington, and it's all or nothing for Yakima. And the leadoff batter, number 44, Cody Crow. He is the current pitcher for Washington.
Well, and Chris, we came up with a huge conspiracy of how substitutions would work, and we screwed up. Ryan McHugh is just going to stay on the bump as his first pitch comes in for a high ball.
Clayton Frankie at first, yeah.
Yeah, so Brooks came in for Frazier as a base runner, and then now Frankie is in as that one's going to get down for a second ball, and now count 2-0. And now Clayton Frankie will just replace him at first base. So once again, Chris, we get bit by the giant conspiracy.
Well, I'll continue to be a conspiracist as I try to pronounce the big words.
Yeah, they get past me too, don't worry.
Spencer Bailey in the on-deck circle for Washington. Here's the pitch. That one will catch the inside of the plate, and McHugh climbs into the count, evens it out at 2.
McHugh with 20 pitches so far here in the game.
Leadoff batter here in the ninth. Here's the pitch. This one will be fouled off over the bathrooms down the third base line here. We were supposed to play at 7 with Hawaii and Cheyenne. They're just taking a nap over there waiting for this one to finish out. We're 3 hours and 8 minutes into this one. This one's going to be hit out into center field. It'll hop in front of Jovetic, and Crow will get on with no outs. That takes us to Spencer Bailey, the right fielder.
You know what the best way to start a 9-run rally is? I'm sorry, a 10-run rally? get that leadoff guy on.
That's right. So Bailey will step in.
1 for 4 today with just a single.
Here's the pitch. I'd be careful with that just a single thing, because a single can win a game.
Absolutely, absolutely. Just a lot of his teammates have a bunch of doubles.
Here's the pitch. That one's low. And it's a 2-0 count here for Bailey. Runner at first, no outs. Mavericks lead 21-11. Another low pitch by McHugh. Settles in. Now the pitch. That one will catch the plate for strike one. So a 3-1 count here now for Bailey. Runner at first, no outs. Bottom of the ninth. It's all or nothing. Here's the pitch. That one's a ball, and they walk the batter.
Now 2 on, no out.
And the bottom of the batting order for Washington, the left fielder, Mitchell Belton.
Belton 0 for 4 tonight, struggling against these Mavericks, but well, it is. Let's see if he's a PTPer. You know, it is crunch time right here. Let's see if he's a prime time performer.
Here's the pitch. I like that one, Taylor. That one will catch the plate for a strike.
What's that? The PTPer?
Uh-huh.
You know who that is?
Is that I don't remember who that.
That's Dickie V.
Dickie V. That's right.
Boom,
it was on
baby.
the tip of my tongue, and it didn't seem right to say Dickie V. Here's the pitch. That one's inside, and we've got a even count at 1 here for Belton. Eggleston will move to the on deck.
Should I do my Dick Vitale again, or no?
We'll save that one.
Okay. Just let me know.
Here's the pitch. This one will be fouled off, and we go to a 1-2 count here. Mavericks looking for the first out on the inning. They lead 21-11, but with no outs, runners at first and second.
Sorry, hard to not laugh. Just they lead 21-11. I mean, what are we commenting here?
This is baseball. It's not football, folks. Here's the pitch. In the dirt. Shock picks it up. And we've got an even count at 2. You know, and I completely agree with you. 11 runs for a W for them. I mean, completely.
Yeah. I mean, that, you know, very rarely does a baseball game hit double digits. And I shouldn't say very rarely, but it's certainly more rare than it is common.
Here's the pitch. This one will be reached for, hit out, picked up by Frankie. He'll throw to McHugh. He'll win the race to first. That'll be out number 1, but the runners advance to second and third. And that takes us to the top of the batting order for Washington, Bryce Helgeson. He'll settle in with 1 out here.
Now, Helgeson has a home run so far here in this tournament, and that right now might be just the welcome that this team needs to really get something going.
Archer in the on deck. He'll push this one straight up in the air, and it will land up on the decking here and bounce over the bathrooms down the first base line.
1 for 4 tonight is Helgeson with a single and a handful of groundouts.
And Brooks back in the bullpen. One down, runners at second and third. Mavericks lead 21-11. Here's the pitch by McHugh. This one will be fouled into the dugout of Washington. Winner plays at 7 tomorrow night against the winner of Cheyenne and Hawaii. Loser faces Medford at 1 o'clock tomorrow. That's the opening game for the day. We'll have 1, 4, and 7 tomorrow for games. Things getting shorter here. Saturday we'll have a 4 o'clock and a 7 o'clock game. And then Sunday the championship game is at 1. And if we have to play a second game here, it'll be 45 minutes after the championship game. That's if the team that loses is the first time they lose. This one will be hit down the third base line. Nice job by Richardson to glove it to keep it from getting out into left field. The runner will come home from third, and it's now 21-12 Mavericks.
You're going to have to get one shining moment all queued up, ready to roll for Sunday.
Yeah. For sure. That'll be our open.
There you go.
So runners at first and second. One out here for Washington. 21-12 is the score. Here's the pitch. This one's hit out into right field. Leonard will have to get on it. They'll send the runner around from second. He rounds third. And they will score, making it 21-13 with one out here. And there's runners on the corners.
Number 2, Justin Vanderbilt.
And that'll bring up the third baseman, Justin Vanderbeek. Schock steps in front of the plate and signals the field. Fans still hanging out here with this game, and we do have the Hawaii and Cheyenne game coming up next, but Maverick fans still keeping themselves in the seats. This one will bounce over the head of Schock. The runner will come home, and it's now 21-14 with a runner at second and one out. And the batter, Vanderbeek, will pick Schock's mask up out of the dirt and hand it to him. He actually banged it against his knee to clean it out for him. That's sportsmanship. And here comes Hathaway. McHugh getting roughed up here in the late innings. Hathaway with his leisure stroll. Looks like Brooks. Nope, they're bringing in the closer, folks. Ricky Stevens. McHugh will go to third, and Trad Richardson will be done. So as they let the closer, Ricky Stevens, warm up, we'll step aside for 60 seconds on Fox Sports Radio, 1450 and 92.7.
Mike's Print and Copy is your locally owned print shop. Whether it's custom letterhead, sure that you're to Mike's Print. Take care of. Stop by 1803 South Russell or give them a call today at 406-728-3363 to have Mike's Print and Copy take care of your printing needs. Mike's Print and Copy is a proud sponsor of sports in Missoula and the surrounding community. Wondering what this week's fishing conditions are like in western Montana? The Missoula Prep Sports Network has you covered. Stop by our website, www.mpsn406.com weekly to get the I Fly Fish Montana fishing alert. David Dietrich and the crew at I Fly Fish Montana have you covered when it comes to all things fly fishing. Visit iflyfishmontana.com to get the latest reviews on fly shop, river conditions, and more. Follow I Fly Fish Montana on Instagram to relive their fishing experiences. I Fly Fish Montana is a proud sponsor of Prep Sports on the Missoula Prep Sports Network.
Welcome in to Fox Sports Radio, 1450 and 92.7. Chris Stratton, Taylor Featherman, as we are deep in Game 7 here. Mavericks lead 21-14 over Washington. That's right, folks, 21-14. That is not a football score. We've got baseball going on here. And the closer, Ricky Stevens, comes in for the Mavericks to finish this one out. With one out here in the bottom of the ninth. Washington's been able to produce here in the late innings. They put 4 runs up in the 8th and 3 here so far in the 9th with one out.
Number 2, Justin Vanderbilt.
And that'll bring up Justin Vanderbeek. He's got a 1-0 count, so they'll bring Ricky Stevens in part of the way through the batter here. We've got Cheyenne and Hawaii leisurely hanging out in the shadows in the grassy knoll area of Ogren Park here down the third base line. Here's the pitch by Stevens. It's in the dirt in front of the plate for ball 1. Runner at second. Washington fans got their rally caps out. Right now it looks like it's working. That one catches the outside of the plate on the right-handed batter to make it an even count at 1. McHugh slid back over to third. Richardson is done. He'll head back to the dugout. So in a 2-1 count here, the pitch is on its way. Swung on and missed for strike 2. And he was going deep on that one as he had to catch himself with the bat before he fell down.
That was quite the cut there.
Still got a good crop of fans here in the ballpark. Here's the pitch. That one's in the dirt, and we'll go to a full count at 3-2.
Vanderbrecht can get away with taking those big cuts because he's got a little power to him. We've already he had a real moonshot of a double earlier on, as well as a single here tonight. 2 for 4 in the outing, also with a walk.
O'Rudis in the on-deck circle for Washington. Here's the pitch. That one's high, and they'll go ahead and walk the batter to put runners at first and second. Ricky Stevens would actually get his only at-bat of his career. The Mavericks would go to Coeur d'Alene a couple of weeks ago, the annual trip to Coeur d'Alene, where they go to the Hathaway cabin up on one of the lakes there north of Coeur d'Alene. And Ricky Stevens would get in, and he would get a hit in on base. So in his career, Taylor, Ricky Stevens bats 1,000.
That's the kind of thing I'd put on my resume. Whether that would help me or not, I don't know.
1-0 count. Runners at first and second, 1 out here. Here's the pitch by Stevens. That one catches the plate, and we even the count at 1. Washington fans didn't think that was a strike pitch. O'Rudis settles in. Here's the pitch by Stevens. Swung on, bounces down the third base line. McHugh, the throw to second. He'll get the out. The throw to first is not there. Yes, it is, and that ends the game. The Mavericks get a huge win, 21-14 over Washington. We'll step aside for 3 minutes. When we come back, we will have the postgame show and get you that Montana Club Player of the Game. Back in 3 minutes on Fox Sports Radio, 1450 and 92.7.
Hawaii and Wyoming. Tomorrow's action at 1 o'clock, Oregon and Washington. At 4 o'clock, Idaho.
Oh, sorry. Thank you. Welcome back to Fox Sports Radio, 1450 and 92.7. Chris Stratton here, Taylor Featherman, as we are in our post-game show. Mavericks get the win. Hold on, folks. Sit down. Make sure you're comfortable. They win 21-14 over